won Euro Cup. They won the Russian Championship, and G2 are the only team to shut them down in the semis. Now, we have our maps up, and yeah, you see there's only 2 that can be banned. Guess what? This is a best of 5. This is not only a test in skill, it's a test of endurance, and this is where we separate the weak from the strong. That is something to keep in mind, but also the fact that overtime on every single map is unlimited. What does unlimited mean? You have to win 2 rounds in a row to get the victory on the entire map. Because in overtime, unlike in standard time, you switch from one side to the other, from defender to attacker, and those discrepancies can mess up a team here and there. That makes it extra complicated.
And we see the pick and ban done here, which is very interesting. G2 leaving both of their most banned maps still in play.
Guess why?
Because they have some strats hidden up their sleeves, a couple of cards that they've been hiding. We've seen these teams say that before, and I don't think G2 will disappoint.
And ding, 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 we have a winner. I guess that's the one. They've done it at the Paris Major. We talked about it. They played Villa once against Pentasports in the group stage. They lost it 6-0, but they're able to play it back in Consulate. The absolute long game strategy of Shas and the team, 3 months in the back pocket. Last time they had played it was at Atlantic City Finals versus Team Liquid, where they famously lost when Lion was in play. Fabian playing the Lion in that very final round as the last man alive versus the 5 of Team Liquid. Never touched the map until Paris's grand final versus EG, where it was a 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, and G2 kind of really cemented themselves in that one.
It's impressive to keep a map hidden for so long and then come out and bring it on the main stage, because sure, scrims is one thing, but no one ever puts their full into a scrim, right? When you just practice, it's not the same. There's no stakes, and there's not as much to learn. There's no pressure on you.
That's right. It is really, I mean, like you said, you can practice this map that you've had hidden up your sleeve for so long, but it's not actually tested. You don't know for sure. You're putting that as a gamble. And we've seen it work out for G2 before. The strategies that they prepare and the preparation that they do as a team with their coach Shaz and now their new analyst Sua, these guys bring so much thought process to the table before these matches, and they rely on that, and we've seen that it works.
All right, final thoughts, gentlemen. I'm gonna ask for bold predictions here again, just to be sure that after the analysis we've kind of gone through, nobody's mind was changed. Alex, G2 or Empire?
3-1 G2.
I'm feeling the same scoreline, 3-1 G2.
What do you think, crowd? Do you want them at 5? I think we would like that. We're still here all night. I'll stay here for the entire week if it means that we get to see 2 of the best teams in the world, the 2 best shaping up against one another, G2 versus Team Empire. Before we go to our casters, got a small video, and then it's up to the boys as Mr. Kickstar and Interrobang will say hello in that game. Enjoy.
Playing against G2 will be a great match for sure. In our opinion, if you want to be the best, you need to beat the best, right? G2 is the best in the world, so we want that match and we want to win that.
This is what Reddit predicted like a month ago. Empire G2 final, and we're like, there's no way Empire first. You know, it's a new team that just made Pro League. And somehow, some way, they've made it all the way to the final now with a pretty hot bracket. Like, they've been playing extremely well. I do think we're better, but I expect to go like pretty close series, like a 3-1, something like that.
Well, here we have it, our very final matchup of the 6th Invitational, a day that we have waited for a long, long time. Will we see a team playing in the biggest match of their lives, and Team Empire, be crowned new world champions, or will one of the most dominant and best teams that we've ever seen play this game defend their title and raise that hammer for a second time?
That is the question, and honestly, you know, going into this match, there's so much uncertainty as to the answer. You know, from the analyst desk, we had actually, it seems like quite decisive in favor of G2 vote, but I gotta be honest, I'm not so sure. Empire have been on such a miracle run, and every moment where you think it's gonna be Empire faltering. They somehow persevere. So we'll find out if they could do it when it matters most as we go into the first map of this series, Coastline. Again, this is a best of 5, so we're going to be going to very many different maps, and it's going to be a long one. We also have, as talked about, infinite overtime, so you have to put your score up 2 in OT in order to win a map.
And unlimited overtime in all 5 maps, Michael.
Yeah.
All 5 of them.
This could potentially be a very long match.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't booked a ticket home for tomorrow, so I might have won that one because we might be here until then if this one goes the distance.
We'll find out, I suppose, but leading straight into map number 1, Dokkaebi and Glaz both gone. So that's 2 sets of smoke, and of course, some very influential attacking operators in general. Standard bans here for Coastline, nothing surprising at all. Mira also being taken out. It's going to limit the site selection just ever so slightly. And Jaeger as well. Quite interesting to see him eliminated.
The crowd likes that one, Michael, quite a bit. That's a joystick ban right there.
Yeah, and it's also going to mean that Ying, who is left unbanned, will be incredibly potent in this map.
So here we go on Coastline. We saw it yesterday, statistically one of G2's best maps. Now, the consulate ban was really intriguing. For many, many months, the general consensus was you don't take G2 to consulate. We know that Team Empire insta-bans Villa, so they're a little boxed in. You have to compete in a best of 5. You've only got 1 ban at your disposal. Might as well take it out on the Villa map that, Empire never plays. That actually makes it easier for G2 to be able to pick the maps around them. The 2 best maps in Empire's arsenal would be Oregon and then Consulate. Now, we do have Oregon on the board. It's going to be the 4th map. It's a long time for Empire to have to wait to get there. They could be in good shape. One of these teams could have put it away before we even get to map number 4.
And Consulate, as you said, one of Empire's best maps, you rightfully predicted was the ban from G2. So it makes a lot of sense to see that taken out. Coastline, you can expect to be G2's map, all things considered. I mean, look at their performance on Coastline just yesterday. They looked so strong against Reciprocity in that map number 2, ending at 7-2 their favor. And it honestly just looked like G2 throughout that whole map. No real response from their opponents. This time their opponents, though, Team Empire, who have been just performing out of their minds through this tournament and throughout Pro League so far, could see a different result.
The final site that G2 played on Coastline last year to win the championship will be the very first site that they pick in hopes of doing the same this year. It'll be Kitchen on the main floor of Coastline, and Empire will start on attack. It's a bit strange to see a Thermite on a Kitchen take on Coastline. I think that's more just that if you're going to bring a hard breacher, a lot of teams will bring Hibana because there's really only 1 site here on this map that you need to worry about possibly doing any hard breaching on. I mean, House Theater, which hasn't been played all that much over the tournament.
It's also relevant on a billiards take as well, if you want to take from VIP and try and cut off rotation between the sites. But I think, honestly, Hibana probably could have been the right pick here. Thermite seems like a safe pick from Empire. They're just trying to cover all their bases, and that makes sense, I suppose. But it's not really going to help them a whole lot, as you stated, on Kitchen. Apart from that, the lineup from G2, you can see both the Echo and the Maestro have been brought, neither of them banned, and that's going to be such a potent combination and able to deny entry into the site while actually simultaneously roaming with those operators.
Karzeka tried to drone and get information, but no, he's not going to be able to get anything on Jonas, who's rotating, gets picked off by Shockwave. And Empire will get the very first kill in this grand finals. A good entry from the Thermite. Now, Team Empire is well known for having both Joystick and Karzeka carry the weight on so many different maps. But over this tournament, as we noted before the show actually began, well, it was Shepard and Shockwave who have been doing great work, and especially Scyther, who goes for 1 and picks up his 2nd kill, as the buck from above will just pick off G2 playing down below. Fabian and Pengu will be the only hope for G2 as Joystick in his own altercation over on Cool Vibe stairs. Tries to do some damage, makes quite a bit of his own, and Scyther is also been eaten up a little bit as he just sits upside in Penthouse. He's gonna be able to just tear up that entire floor. The buck might still have a frag grenade at his disposal. He's got 2 of them, in fact. Karzeka used 1 earlier, pulls out the SMG-11, and it looks like we are close to a perfect round. Empire sets quite a tempo with that round victory. Nobody from G2 able to do a single thing and Empire will take the kitchen attack.
That round started off as, wow, it's unusual to see G2 losing control of their roamers while simultaneously being punished for their roam by losing someone in terms of manpower and then not get any refrags. Following the loss of the roam upstairs, it's also unusual for G2 to be punished so much by this vertical play. Empire got some really awesome kills, Scyther specifically, as you could just see, using control of Master to their advantage. G2 just not able to get anything going that round. And again, very unusual, especially on their map, Coastline. You would have expected there to be a little bit more of a response from G2, more active roaming perhaps, more control in terms of knowledge. The fact that someone pushed in through luggage and caught Jonas off guard, free kill, how is that happening? Now, we're gonna be going to the double bar, and two are always on the move with these sites. Not commonly going to try and repeat a site unless it's on one of those maps that we only have 2 defendable sites total.
All right, so let's go down to the double bars, Michael.
Let's.
Bomb located by
You see different on G2 side of things. They've largely blown up their composition. Go for this roam again. I was going to note, yesterday Jonas had one of the best games that he's had of the entire tournament, through group stages and then onwards to the playoffs. And it was very needed. Fabian even tweeted after the game that G2 wasn't saving strats, they were just saving Jonas for that particular matchup. Well, they're going to need him here. Once again, with the fragging power that Empire has, it's now trickled down to the rest of their roster. G2 is going to need to be able to land that counterpunch effectively. Yeah, you can rely on Kanto Raketti, but Jonas also needs to pull his weight. Pengu was the member of G2 who was shown off during the pre-show, I think for good reason. Every single member of both of these teams has contributed in a multitude of ways. So towards round number 2 now, 30 seconds on in. And drone work upstairs on that second floor for Empire. They saw that there was a vigil playing beneath. The window's already opened up in the blue bar. Will establish some control for Empire to just sit outside. Soft destruction from Joystick, but Fabian shuts him down so swiftly. As it's not even seconds after Joystick opens up that floor, and he'll be off the board. There's another body that goes down as Fabian is inside of Office, making good work of Karzeka. And now engaged with Shockwave, who trades him off with Scyther getting his own just a couple seconds sooner. And both of these teams fragging very well, and within 1 minute and 10 seconds, there have been 4 casualties. Make that 5 as Jonas takes out Shockwave, and Empire now finds themselves in bad place. Shepard goes down too, so Scyther just holding this window. He'd opened it up about 40 seconds sooner, but he's very vulnerable. There's 2 different opportunities to peek him. He's gonna toss a frag grenade and jump in, and Jonas shuts him down. G2 bounces back on round number 2, quite effectively and quite quickly.
G2 just committing to those fights. A lot of the engagement happening actually on the outside of the building, and not going to back down from Empire, that's for sure. Excellent to see them pulling that out.
Heavy favorite in this entire tournament was Evil Geniuses. We noted this on Friday, that you couldn't walk more than a couple feet or a couple meters, depending on which system you use of measurement. To not see an Evil Geniuses jersey, I was actually very curious to see which team that this crowd would embrace. It was Norarengo, and everybody really liked them, but they didn't make it to the finals, and now it sounds like for the time being it's going to be G2's crowd, which is a complete opposite from last year. It was dead silent whenever G2 was able to take a round off of Evil Geniuses in the previous Invitational. So,
yeah,
the first time that this team's actually getting cheered here in Montreal.
And G2 win a lot of events, and because of that, sometimes they can become the enemy. Once Season 1, Season 4, Season 5, the second Invitational, Paris Major, Season 8, they've been on a streak, and indomitable from most people's accounts. And because of that, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to root for them. But
5 seconds to insertion.
Empire, on the other hand, a team that hasn't really won any majors. They just entered into Pro League this season.
Attacker's objective is to defuse
a bomb. They've been on, like I said, a bit of a miracle run to make it as far as they have. And they're still looking like they're going to keep going toe-to-toe with G2 non-stop. Through these rounds, all of the engagements have been happening very early, as per normal Siege. That last round ended with about 1 minute 30 on the clock. That's way too much time for Usual Siege. And it's because both teams are willing to take the fights and able to win them. That's why we also see the 1-1 scoreline. Just gonna keep going back and forth, I'm sure. G2 going for a long roam, as per usual, on kitchen defense. They only have Goga on site right now. Everyone else from G2 is trying to exert some pressure on the attack as they clear the roamers out.
To really speak to the dominance that Team Empire has had over the last last year, they've lost 2 series, period. One of which is DreamHack Winter, and one even before that. This team is on an enormous winning streak, and they're hoping that it's going to continue. Shockwave on the Fragmite, taking down Jonas. Say goodbye to the Mute, and once again, will be the very first casualty. Exact same mirror to what we saw in round number 1. So a good entry there from Team Empire to be able to take one person off of the board. There's Joystick to gun down Pengu, and Empire finds themselves with a bigger lead, just over a minute into the round. Good pacing and good timing for the Russians.
G2's roam usually gets, well, punished less in these rounds because they're able to detect their enemies and retreat before an engagement can become too complicated. And then another G2 roamer will come to support them. But in this situation, Empire are seizing every opportunity. They're landing all of their shots. They're not allowing the roamers from G2 to fall back and get support, resulting in a lot of 1v1s. Fabian's gonna win the first one for his team though, and he'll take down Shock. So the hard destruction gone for Team Empire. It's not essential on this site, but it's certainly going to be missed. Kenturketi trying to do some damage at Projector. He's laying in some fire, but the support from Kozeka is going to allow Empire to put themselves up another man.
Goga knows he's got a body inside a Sunrise bar. That's going to be Joystick, who uncharacteristically misses his shots. And G2 will retake the bars downstairs, but it's a kitchen defense. So as long as you can hold that bar, you still have to worry a little bit about that second floor presence. That's where the Buck of Scyther is playing, and he'll just sit up there the entire time. The only reason that Buck will get called down to help on the main floor is the rest of his team falters. But Karzak is also up there, so Shepard is going to be tasked completely alone with getting the diffuser down. He's got 20 seconds, he's over by the service door, and he'll have to really rely on the rest of his team to box G2 out. But G2 still has an ACOG available on Goga. Very damaged though. Shepard going for the defuse! The Spaniard, 2 big kills! And looking for a clutch opportunity is Goga just a second off. Can't hit Shepard, the defuse goes down, and the IQ fell. G2 a retake, they'll get the diffuser. Celebration from the Europeans, and they will take the lead and successfully defend the kitchen in round number 3.
And this is why G2 is touted as the best team in the world. That was Empire's round through and through, but Goga managed to bring it back. So, successful hold on Kitchen from G2. That had to be their second attempt there, but they managed it regardless. The fact that they managed to win a site that they so clearly are having, I mean, to be honest, a disadvantage at holding is very impressive for G2, and it's going to help them a lot when they get to go to other bomb sites, which possibly will be easier to defend for them. That's 2 rounds in a row that on the Kitchen site where Empire looked dominant attacking. We're gonna be going to Billiards now, so something new here from G2 is they cannot go back to the double bar just yet.
Attackers have discovered the location.
Let's set the tone for Coastline. Now we know that this is G2's map. The pop-up yesterday that we saw on the screen noted how it was a 16-1 record. Make that 17-1 with their victory over Reciprocity yesterday. And well, this is a pretty good map for G2. 17-2 would need to be the scoreline for Empire to obviously take this map and move us towards map number 2 with the lead in favor of the upstart European squad.
5 seconds left before
how important is winning Coastline for Empire, Michael? All things considered, not just in terms of setting the tone, and how debilitating, more importantly, is it if Empire's not able to pull through on Coastline? Is it just par for the course given how good G2 is, or is there greater worry here?
I think we talk about the mental game a lot in this, in Siege, and it's very important, that's for sure. And that's one of the things that hasn't seemed to affect Empire nearly as much as other teams. It is absolutely shocking that Empire are currently playing on the biggest stage in Siege, and it's their first time here. On top of that, they haven't faltered through the tournament, and they're going up against G2, going toe-to-toe in these rounds already. That just shouldn't happen usually. Usually there's a little bit of a hump that teams have to get over in terms of experience, in terms of the mental fortitude. But we don't have that problem for Empire, and it's very impressive I don't think it's really going to be a huge factor for them if they lose map number 1. They'll know, hey, you know what? It's a best of 5. We have plenty of opportunities. First kill here for Joystick. Fabian goes down. Such a hero in the last round. And Smokes as well, eliminated for G2. That could open up opportunities for a plant in Billiards. There's still the Yokais and potentially C4s, but that's a really good pick for Empire.
Yeah, and a really good start to the round. Not just being able to walk in and take map control away, as Empire did, but you gotta think, for G2, they are strong on this map, so they have the ability to battle back when they find themselves trailing in terms of numbers, but you can't continuously do that on the remaining 4 maps after Coastline. Win or lose, finding yourselves down a member within the first minute or so will eventually just beat you down and prove to be too much to come back from. So I'd imagine that at some point G2, as they have done in the past, will have to play a little bit more gingerly on this realm. And downstairs in the blue bar, Kanto Raketti is in trouble. He's gonna get pushed from 2 separate angles. Joystick and Scythe are both there to be able to gun him down, and the Bandit will not be able to get out of the bar alive. Goga's also been down, as Shock is there, and Jonas missing all of his shots onto Joystick as Pengu in a 1v5, but he's got 2 separate sights trained on him. Shockwave inside a VIP could possibly go for Pengu, but pistol out, anticlimactic finish. Empire dominate that round, and we'll be back at 2 apiece.
Wow. What a round there from Empire. These attack wins that they've been netting are absolutely one-sided. I mean, we even saw the round on Kitchen last time they were attacking. It seemed like it was going to be Empire. But of course, that clutch, most notably from Goga, is why we got back to, well, why we are currently at an even round count. That attack, it just seemed like G2 were outside of their element, missing a lot of shots and opportunities. Empire, on the other hand, making great use of that thermite. You can see in VIP, again, cutting the sights in half and just going for a straight aquarium take. Every time that G2 went for a peek to try and take a fight in their advantage, it ended up working against them by causing Empire to get a hit. Because Empire just have not been missing their shots so far throughout this match. We're gonna go back to the double bars, the first site that G2 were able to successfully defend, and should be their safe haven in this defensive half.
This is the way the bars played out as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, both of these, or all these rounds, I want to say both of these teams have looked very decisive in the rounds that they've taken. It hasn't really been a back and forth that we anticipate, these rounds going down to the wire with one team pulling it out at the last minute.
There was the one Kitchen round, but I don't know. That it hasn't been exactly what we were expecting.
It was still like it was a 1v2 or a 1v3 with...
I mean, it was like a 3v2, I think.
Shepard was on really low HP at that point.
It was a 2v3. Oh, engagement early in the front door. I'm not sure what Jonas was doing there, trying to go for an aggressive play onto Joystick, and, well, he's punished for it.
Fabian's there for the possible trade out if he wants it, but will instead head through security and go on over towards office. If there's anybody there, there's one body on drone, but Fabian will have to get out of there. He's on surveillance right now. He's going to get marked. Got both Shockwave and Scyther. Good opportunity. Joystick has a drone as well, and man, the proficiency that we see of Empire on this entry. Fabian will take one down as Shockwave had grabbed one earlier, so both teams will lose one body in that ensuing fray. It's 50 seconds, and it's good tempo for Team Empire. They've taken out the 2 SAS operators on defense. Kanto comes out of nowhere, shuts down Joystick. No entrance through those main doors. So control for Empire over on the office side of things, but they're going to struggle to do much in the office. There was a grenade timed effectively, a drop. No! Karzeka blows himself up. Doesn't time that very well. You can't outrun your own frag grenade, and Fabian likely shaking his head in amusement. That's a free kill just gifted to G2.
You can't be making mistakes like that in a 3 versus 3. That's going to put the rest of Empire in such a bad spot for this round. Goga's holding on to the Sunrise bar. We've got Shock really focused on his flank because Karzeka was unable to take care of Fabian inside of security. Shock will be going for a peek into the A-bomb site, which is, as of this moment, undefended. Yokai drones potentially above it, but no actual bodies from G2 holding it down. Got both Kanto Raketti and Goga holding onto Sunrise. Shock's gonna go for Thermite. This is risky. He knows someone's behind him. Fabian has relocated to the garden. He can use his impacts on the garden wall to open this up whenever he pleases. And because Empire are coming down to the last minute, it's going to be Fabian in such a play-make position.
Shockwave's by that A bomb site with Shepard just outside. Watching the window, Shockwave is in, but he doesn't have the diffuser. Shepard does, and Shepard is nestled over by that stone ledge outside. Goga finds Shockwave, and now once again, Shepard will have to get into the site and attempt something that is oh so difficult even in a 1v1, but in a 1v3 with the clock working against you, can be really challenging. Shepard starts with one body on a Kanto Raketti, pre-fire down inside of security, thinks that there's somebody that might be there. He's correct, Fabian is playing not too far off, but G2 has time on their side. Waste the 20 seconds, force Shepard to go for the plant, but he's not gonna get there. Fabian rotates out, G2 will take the lead once again, as they have that time working so effectively against them. Hide for 20 seconds, just wait. When he goes into that plant, he's either gonna have to fall off or die, as he's very vulnerable, and the clock will be at 0.
So, in that round, Karzeka missing his grenade is where it all started going wrong for Empire. Right here. If he had been able to land it and then follow up with a kill onto Fabian, it probably would have been a good clear for Empire into the B bomb site, the blue bar. Actually, correction, the A bomb site. But it wasn't, and why is that? Well, after Karzeka died, there was no one else to drone players from Empire into security to confront Fabian, and they were caught in a crossfire, unable to really get control of site. Why was there no one to drone? Because the diffuser was down elsewhere, and one of the two players had to go pick it up, leaving the other to linger inside of the office and wait for his teammate. It took way too much time, and Empire found themselves in a really bad spot. Essentially, at that point, an unwinnable round with the way that G2 had set themselves up.
At what point does G2 stop losing a body within 20 seconds of Empire opening up a barricade, a doorway, a window, etc.? We're going to see another aggressive roam here from G2. Kanto Raketti usually plays the alibi. They got Pengu on it this time around. Empire keeping pretty static with their lineup. They like the 5 operators they have. It's been working for the most part. Barring Karzeka doesn't blow himself up with a grenade again. He's got 2 available. Keep in mind that the Jaeger is banned as well, so it's a smart play from Empire to double up on frag grenades, as both Scyther and Karzeka are. There's room to have more projectiles and throwables on Empire's side of things, but hey.
Think about how well the soft destruction worked for Empire the last time, well, the first time they attacked on Kitchen. It was a really good round for them, and if I'm not mistaken, a perfect round, because they got control of the roamers, took them out upstairs, and following that, they were able to take out the anchors using the soft destruction that they had in abundance. Now, it seems like they're going to be going for a similar strategy this time. They start droning out by VIP and Penthouse, trying to clear above. Empire's a little bit spread out right now, all over the south and west side of the building. They've yet to make an entrance. They're also on the north balcony. That seems to be the main entry point.
This explosion that goes off, but uncertain as to who it was from. Well, frag grenades are there for Empire, so it was likely an impact that was used. There's 4 impacts that are available on G2's side of things. Fabian has 2. It's likely that Pengu has 2 as well. You see Fabian has 0 impacts left, so one of them might have been his. It's a rotate that's all the way at the back. It's taken advantage of by Kanto Raketti with Jonas there as well. And G2 have been contesting at Penthouse Theater very aggressively and losing it most of the times. Well, they doubled up on it. Instead of having Jonas in there to die all on his lonesome, got the dog of Kanto Raketti. But it's a freebie for Shockwave. He's got all the time in the world to make a play. He walks on up and takes out Kanto. Joystick knows that there's a Legion playing nearby as he shoots out one of the traps and now looks around the corner, and there's Fabian, but Fabian is just winning these fights. He's feasting upon Joystick. Every time these two seem to interact with one another, the Swede's been the one coming away with it. So, Empire finds themselves down 2 incredibly powerful operators and will now need to rely on Shock, who's been doing an exceptional job finding the scoreboard to carry a lot of the weight for this team through the final 45 seconds.
Well, it's vertical control here for Empire, but at a man disadvantage and having already lost their buck, it's not perfect, that's for sure. The horizontal roam from G2 is still established as well inside of the main lobby. That's 2 players, both Jonas and Fabian, trying to hold on to this position. Could be a free kill for Shock, but he misses his shots. Unfortunate to see that from the Thermite. Empire are going to have to recover even harder now. Karzeka, though, does take out Jonas, so that's one of the 2 roamers in main lobby eliminated, and it was, in fact, the potentially free kill that Shock missed out on. Meanwhile, the plant is going down. Where are the yokai drones? It doesn't seem that G2 are aware, and Empire's going to get it. Shock gets another one. It's a shutdown from Shepard on Tagoga, leaving just Pengu in kitchen. He's got Shepard on the floor, so a 1 versus 2. As the run out comes out, though, Karzeka will shut him out, and Empire take another attack on kitchen.
Both teams drawing the first half on Coastline. That is very impressive for Empire here. And you need to see if G2 can tighten up as we switch sides now. Like I said, even though Coastline trends towards the defense now, just because of the meta that we're in, drawing on a map as good as G2 are on it is excellent. Now we know that Team Empire is no slouch on Coastline, though we have seen them lose it a couple times. They've been winning a lot of fights. And a couple of those rounds were not lost, but put in a position where it was very difficult for G2 to be able to win them because they were down bodies early. Once again, 2, 3, 4 rounds where you find yourself in a 3v5 or a 4v5, that's really difficult to come back from.
The communication from Empire in that last round is just astonishing. The way that they managed to push in through delivery and get the plant while no one was paying attention, beautiful understanding of the situation from Shepard that had to have been communicated by the rest of Team Empire. Meanwhile, Shock misses his shot on Jonas in main lobby. But what does he do? He calls Karzeka, somebody rotating out of main lobby to the main hallway. Karzeka establishes himself on the dropdown, which is open, and capitalizes on that call. The way that Empire is putting together and lining up these kills is truly impressive on attack, and I'm sure it will be much the same now as they transition to defense. And again, as we've talked about, defense being the preferred side. The only thing that makes me say that this is a nice and even first half is how proficient G2 are, not only on defense, but also attack of Coastline. It's going to be Billiards Hookah for the first round, Team Empire.
Empire have struggled in the past to be able to gather information on defense. We saw how effective that drone work was on attack. Times they would have a flank drone inside of main lobby. They'd have a drone coming in through security. They'd have another drone waiting just over by the office area. Now, Empire have tried to correct this by loading up with information operators. You've got Shockwave and Scyther with the 2 yokai drones and then the 3 black eye cams. And Joystick will take a big gamble, take out Jonas. He's not having the greatest of game on the tarps. Kanto Raketti will finish a body off. Gets slapped by Shepard, but his breaching round will still claim Shockwave. But shaken off of the tarps, at least for the time being. Now, at the very start of this matchup, when the operator bans came out, Michael, you noted that there was no Jaeger on the board. Now, not only is this a great operator to frag effectively, but also can enable a Ying play. But Karzeka takes out 2, one of which is his teammate. And the rush from G2 does not go anywhere inside of Hookah. Pengu's position alerted, and well, right behind the shield is Karzeka shuts down Pengu. And it'll be a lead for Team Empire. Here as the crowd applauds. It was a good play to stop that momentum and aggression at the hands of the Ying from G2.
Good read of the situation. The gas canisters, the C4, they all came out as soon as the Candelas were thrown into the building. And that's an excellent understanding of the situation that was about to arise there. G2 should have had Hookah control well in hand, potentially 2 free kills on the players from Empire who are holding that site, but not so. Yes, Karzeka did get a TK, but that player in Hookah was effectively dead at that moment thanks to the way that G2 was playing the round. So the C4 was ultimately an excellent play from Empire and Karzeka specifically. There's that shot from Shepard, really impressive to see that happen. And it's because of Scyther on the yokai drones, as you can see, that the call came out to throw the C4. He was punished for it, but overall, Empire were just so well established. They managed to take that round because of such a dedicated push from G2 and how well Empire were able to punish them.
Shepard was a pretty worthy sacrifice there to be able to win the round, all things considered.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shepard.
He did his work. He got Candela.
He needed you. They needed you. Get Candela, get blinded, get blown up by your own team C4. It's fine. You win the round. And you were an instrumental part of it by being the sacrificial lamb.
It worked out in the end. Now we'll be going to the double bar here for Empire. Site that we've seen G2 tended to favor. They managed to win it both times they went here. the way that these rounds are playing out, seems like there's different mentalities in the defense and the attack for both squads. As we noted on, Empire did not bring Ying. Jonas is going to punish Shock for a little bit of a, well, way too aggressive peek outside. Because of that, G2 find themselves in a great spot going into this round. They're also bringing the IQ, which is going to counter the cameras that are already established from Shock. So effectively, no influence on this round from Shockwave in the end.
His cameras will still be there, though, as long as Pengu doesn't get them all.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get them all, but knowing Pengu on IQ, I expect him to.
It's a big expectation.
I don't know if it's so crazy. I mean, we're playing Coastline, too. It's a pretty shallow map, but there's a lot of common spots for those cameras.
Once again, trying to abuse the lack of ADS as they know Joystick's playing around the corner. He will not get away. An entry from Fabian will give an even bigger lead. An even bigger lead, as I stumble over my words there for just a second, to G2. C4 will go off from Scyther, but it will not net anything. Fabian's lost a bit of HP, but that's really it. That was in the fight earlier on.
Karzeka's in a good spot here to flank from VIP, should he find the opportunity. G2 is trying to take control of the main hallway and as well, Billiards and Hookah. So this could be a huge play make from Karzeka if he times it right, but yeah, it all comes down to timing. He does have the one impact to make his rotation shorter if he wants to as well, but that will alert G2 to his play. G2 currently trying to use that soft destruction to the best of their ability, and they're going to throw in their smokes, try to go for a plant, not at default spot, but actually just inside of the building. Jonas is getting hit Shepard by Sunrise Bar. That was an excellent shot there. Team Empire going for a forced rotation, but Pengu's on top of it. It's just Karzeka. He's above. He'll have to retake onto 5, and he's not even going to get one. G2, what a round. Perfect. Not losing a single body.
Put a couple more of those rounds together, and you easily take this map if you're G2, but Empire, a bit of sloppiness, all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered, I agree.
Do you know how many times we've said that?
We said that probably at least 132 times over this event.
Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere near that high. It's more like 20, but...
Well, I was shooting for the sky.
When somebody tweets at you saying, hey, you're saying this too much.
You know, actually, I imagine now someone's going to go back and count it. And we're going to have accurate statistics.
I hope not. I hope people have better things.
GG?
I hope things have better. I hope they have better things to do with their time.
So that attack from G2, taking control of the top floor, very well done. They didn't even need to use VIP to accomplish it either. There were some redundant roamers from Team Empire on the east side of the building, and that of course being Karzeka specifically on the Legion. Not able to really influence the push because he didn't time his rotate very well. That allowed G2 specifically to establish so much control vertically to force the roamers to rotate. Then the push in through the site was unexpected. Team Empire got caught off guard, the anchors specifically did, because they still saw above being opened up at the same time G2 were pushing. And usually, you're not going to do both of them at the same time. So that's just really good knowledge of when it's appropriate to push from G2. And yeah, well done to catch Empire with the pants down in that round. We'll be going to Kitchen now for Empire. Their first attempt here.
Only 2 bodies inside a site for Empire right now. I think that was similar to Reciprocity yesterday, wasn't it? Reciprocity had 4 bodies off site. They only kept 1 person actually playing inside the site. Didn't work so well for them.
I mean, we've been seeing that from G2 a lot too, and Empire are coming close with only 2 inside right now.
There's a team that's going to be able to roam effectively and work well with one another. It's definitely Empire, though.
And
it doesn't really matter who it is.
And G2, both of these teams. And G2 are pretty quick on their take-in from the west side currently. They've got control of Blue and Sunrise Bar, and they're already droning into Kitchen, which they should very soon call, thanks to Cantor Raketi's current drone in Kitchen, that, hey, A site is clear. We could go for a play here. They've also got the smokes cut off the site. Sees Shepard on the rotation, though. So as he has easy access to A, he'll be needed, or we'll see him get taken care of before G2 actually goes for a push. And that's the attempt right now from Fabian, but he's going to miss his nade.
Oh, not the greatest nade at all. Gonna try for some.
Well, the first one was not the greatest. The second one was...
Second one was even worse.
Even worse.
And Joystick is there, takes out Pengu, and G2 not in good shape. As the cloaking ability will be reactivated from Joystick going around. Empire's just gonna collapse now as G2 themselves not in really good shape. Fabian gets nowhere, Joystick an easy kill, and Kanto nothing. Flawless round for Empire to answer back. It's a flawless round from G2. It was a flawless round from Empire as well.
We've seen
Well
like
played.
3 or 4 flawless rounds so far. Just in one map, you don't usually have that happen. And, well, it's frequent here. Very well coordinated there from Empire to see the G2 attack and punish it before it was able to fully establish itself to execute onto the site. Once G2 went for a push into the site, the smokes actually ended up working against them. Gas canisters on top of the smoke grenades from the attacking team, and making that push into Kitchen damaged everyone from G2, and they were punished by the players outside of Kitchen in the adjacent bomb site. This run out from Joystick as well, absolutely excellent game sense to know that there's someone out there. I mean, we don't have a Valkyrie on the defense in that round. So that's just Joystick understanding the situation and making a play around that situation. There must have been something to prompt him to go for that run out, but no matter what, good game sense.
All right, round number 10. I wanted to note for a second there that we saw Shas, the coach of G2, on camera for a lot of that previous round, just in the background.
10 seconds left.
Both Fabian and Penguin. He's fidgeting. I don't see Shas
5 seconds
fidget,
left before
ever.
insertion.
He stands there, he doesn't really make faces. Oh, I mean, makes faces if his team is winning. I think this might be the most nervous that G2 has been heading into an actual matchup, because they know how good Empire is. They know how Empire can take over games as effectively as they do.
And when it's Shaz, it's really worrisome. He is, in a way, the backbone of G2, in that he's always ready to support his teams, both in terms of morale and strategy, analytics, and understanding of their opponents. Empire loses the first player in this round to Goga, the great entry, playing on Habana, no less.
Joystick's run out on Pengu, as you noted, was pivotal at the very end of that previous round, and he won't be there to do it again. So probably the best player on Empire and one of the best players in the world at the moment in the way that Joystick plays this game. Well, he's gone. You've taken him off of the Jaeger, he's just going to sit on the Vigil. Doesn't necessarily still have the same fragging potential, but still able to do a lot of damage if need be.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
The slower rounds that we've seen between these two teams as well.
I mean, this match has been slowly getting slower. It's
very
weird. Yeah, the first couple rounds, we had some very fast ones, and now G2, very patient on the attack. They got the early pick, and I think that what's going through G2's minds right now is they don't want to squander it. They're going to open up holes from Skylight onto the A bar, disabling the play of that position, forcing Empire to play further off-site, though Empire has the perfect kit to do so. And it's going to be Jonas to get another one. Karzeka goes down, and we've got just 3 players on Empire, all of them anchors. Shock, what an excellent shot onto Cantor Raketti, playing on the tarps. He will be punished for that aggressiveness. Not an easy angle to play, to be sure. Not an easy shot that Shock just managed to land.
The 5v3 lead, the most dangerous lead in the game.
Yes. And it will be punished already, putting us to the 4v3, which is not ideal for G2, though they do still have plenty of utility.
A lot.
Yeah.
Likely have both sets of frag grenades in Fabian's hands. Jonas will still have the smoke grenades as well. Scyther sees a body on Cool Vibe stairs. It was Fabian playing there. Scyther's going to get juiced up from the dog. His position will not be known, but the yokai falls to the sledge of Fabian, who's just patiently waiting. Empire's time is being eaten away at here.
Scyther wanted to go for a play, and that's why he got overhealed, but he was not able to do it. Jonas gets Shock as well, so this is looking bad for Empire.
Shepard will hold things out as Scyther rushes in, using that little bit of extra HP to pick up 2, and that's Diffuser down in the middle of the site as well. G2 will have to go for raw power here, as they're not going to be able to get that one back. But Fabian on the retreat, traded off, and Scyther looking to try to clutch, and he'll have to against Pengu. But Pengu, nobody's clutching against him, pulls out the pistol, and we are tied back up. These two teams cannot shake one another. 5-5, and a good read from G2 as things looked like they were about to go bad in a hurry.
Anyone but Pengu in that situation, and I saw Empire miraculously getting the comeback in the 2 versus 5. It came down to the wire, 1v1 at the end, and that is just really unnerving if you're G2, and I'm sure confidence boosting if you're Empire, despite losing that round. A lot of that came down to the first pick we saw at the very beginning of the round, where Joystick was eliminated. And Imagine if he had been present on that site pick. Following that, it was another pick for G2, putting them in a 5v3, forcing pressure onto the anchors. This amazing play from Pengu. No holds barred, just going for the rush through the site. If he had lingered there, it would have put his opponent in the advantage and likely, again, have given Empire the round and the match point.
It's pretty worrisome for Empire is that Kanto Raketti has not woken up yet. Sitting at 3 kills and 9 deaths, Kanto has not really been effective in his role so far throughout this game. And the problem is that for Empire, well, they're allowing Fabian, Pengu, and somewhat even Jonas, who's had a couple very big rounds despite his early opening deaths on defense, to help carry the load for G2. You wake up and anger Kanto. It's a scary thing for every single team.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
I think that's really the story to be told here is Kanto has yet to wake up. That doesn't mean that it's going to be Team Empire taking this whole series. It just means once he does, this might be a little bit less even. Empire going for a defense here of Billiards and Hookah, and it's a run out from Joystick. He's gonna do a whole mess of damage. 2 on the floor, and Goga lit up. You gotta imagine if it's just been 2 there for G2, it would have been an absolute stomp for Joystick. He very wisely does not commit to a repeat though. You gotta admire him for seeing that he's done so much damage, put 2 on the floor, and not fully committing. That means that Empire will put themselves at a substantial HP advantage.
But also utility advantage too. Look at Pengu's Monty is running stuns, not smokes.
But not lose anyone. And yeah, that's an awkward thing for Pengu. Maybe just trying to clear out ADSs.
You also saw that Jonas appeared to throw a grenade up as well, just to try and I guess, hide the fact that the members of G2 are getting brought back to life. It could have been a massive play from Joystick that just falls a little short.
I managed to get something out of it, at least. And it did seemingly trip up G2. Now, since the rounds have been getting slower and slower from G2 on the attack, that's definitely going to be something great for Empire moving forward. Got Jonas clearing into VIP using Jackal to the best of his ability. This Hibana hole is going to be very powerful for G2 as it cuts off the rotation between A and B. With that rotation cut off, it means that Scyther and Shock by the blue stairs are going to be isolated from Shepard, Karzeka, and Joystick over by A and Aquarium. It's full anchors right now for Empire, unless you count the roamers in Aquarium, but immediate vicinity, it's full anchor, and Empire are just trying to hold on for the last minute.
Pengu's gonna get assaulted here on the Cool Vibe stairs. He knows he's got 2 bodies, and Empire, fearing a possible second body coming on up, will retreat for the time being. But look at this! Joystick didn't get him earlier, but he's gonna get him now with 2! Shepard collapses on Jonas and Fabian at the hookah door. The only member of the team that appeared to walk away with full HP. He's completely blind on information as there's a smoke stopping the members of Empire from being able to see much. In vain, Fabian might cook this grenade, toss it out, but it goes off a bit too early. He's gonna do nothing. It's a flawless round from Empire. I think you could say that Joystick probably won them that round in the first 20 seconds. There was no recovery from G2. They will take a timeout. Try to stop this bleeding here and send us into overtime. But right now, Team Empire sit on match point. Remember, 17-1 is G2's record, going all the way back to the summer of last year on Coastline. This is all but impossible for teams to be able to defeat G2 on this map, and Empire is so close to doing so.
They don't lose here. If we manage to see overtime, as a reminder, it will be 2 rounds you have to get up over your opponent in OT in order to win. So if we keep going back and forth in OT, where the sides switch every single round, then we could have a very long map, number 1, should we even get there. But with the way that Empire have been playing on defense, that might not be possible. They'll be going to Kitchen, a site that has been defended once so far from Empire and has been successfully held also once. So this is a perfect dream opportunity for Empire to just finish map number 1 and push us to number 2 border, which again is Empire's pick. This map being G2's pick, it's quite substantial. It was the first map that G2 wanted to go to, and right now they're up against match point against them. It's not a great situation, to be sure, if you're a G2 fan.
G2 bans one of your best maps in Consulate. Okay, you still got Oregon left. It's probably the best map. You have it all the way down in 4th. That is bold. Saving your best map for 4th.
Playing the marathon, I suppose.
Could be.
Yeah.
Anticipating that they're probably going to drop one map at least, or at least win one map heading into that. But, man, how do you respond? All right, Consulate goes by the wayside, you can't play it. G2 says we don't want to take you to it.
10 seconds
You
to
respond by taking, statistically, probably G2's best map away from them. Maybe not best map in total, but at least by the numbers it is. And you win it? It's a pretty good answer back from what G2 does to you in that map ban phase. I think there were a lot of people that were expecting an Oregon ban, just simply to try and get under the skin and maybe take away the best tool that Empire had. It's a bit surprising to see Consulate go. To imagine that there's a reason why G2 left it to go through the ban phase as well. So Empire have everything at their disposal, and it'd be a massive lead and massive win for them on this series to take Coastline out and undoubtedly shake G2.
You know, in a way, we have the most prepared team for any event ever in G2. I mean, that, based on what I've seen from many teams, they prepare more than most. Coming up against one of what they have said publicly, Empire, one of the least prepared teams. And it's an interesting clash. Shock going to get an first kill onto Jonas as he tries to push in through luggage hallway. Curious that the Jackal was trying to peek that right after Fabian opened it up. Very dangerous play, left him exposed. And he was punished for it.
Karaseka trying to get a kill of his own just by Hall of Fame and VIP. He'll move on out. Looking to try to get around, but no, there's Pengu there. And Pengu doesn't lose anything in that encounter. Joystick will let the drone of Pengu sail right on by. And here's the beauty of Vigil. If he had engaged his cloaking device there, then he would have been spotted. Pengu's not going to be able to get out alive. Joystick finds him, tackles him. And Vigil's best ability to be hidden and undetected isn't even part of his toolkit in that one.
Didn't need it. No drones coming from G2 there into the projector master side of things. So this roam from Empire, so successful right now. It'll finally be punished though. Shock goes down and here we go, G2. They're not out of it just yet. Scyther challenging onto the main hallway. He's got a good angle on that front door. Joystick's put to just a sliver of HP and he could be taken out at a moment's notice. Still plenty of time for G2. They don't need to rush themselves right now. And Joystick above will finally be finished off by Kantaraketi entering the top floor by himself. He's going to start opening up holes. Doesn't have a shotgun, but he'll make do with his rifle.
You got a nitro cell for Shepard as he watches, you know, in charge of looking towards service and delivery, as Scyther knows that there might be a push coming from the main lobby. If not, Scyther then can at least still work on the ceiling above. Fabian trying to see the feet of the Maestro, can't do it, as there's a toilet blocking his way. So the two members of Empire will take a deep breath and see if we will need overtime for map number 1. A beautiful shot by Fabian. He just walks in and removes Scyther. Shepard's position given away. He's got a door and a reinforced wall to play around as Shepard will now need to stop the diffuse going down. He has a nitro cell available. Pull it out or the diffuser goes off to Goga. And now G2 just watch. There's only 2 ways for Shepard to get out of this situation. Knows he's got 1 mark down, but there's 3 bodies that are gonna go towards him. A grenade will go in, it doesn't go off. Shepard gets moved to the side, and G2 will force us to overtime, unlimited overtime, Michael, on our very first map.
Shepard lost that round as soon as he let the diffuser go down. At that moment, G2 was in a picture-perfect situation. 3 versus 1, they have 2 rotations to watch, and all they need to do is wait. And Shepard had absolutely no teeth in the clutch, but the round ended much sooner than that. The fact that G2 were able to bounce back from the excellent roaming that Empire had and get the refrags, as well as the vertical control, was quite substantial. We even saw Kantaraketi with his excellent game knowledge, able to pick open holes that should usually not be accessible if you just have the rifle. But because Kantaraketi's been playing this game for as long as he has, he knows exactly where he needs to open things up. And he made full use of that top floor. That shot from Fabian right there as well. Taking out the Maestro, absolutely massive. Maestro was in the plant denial position, and if he had stayed alive or even won the fight against Fabian, we might have seen a very different outcome and possibly map number 2 already. But as you stated, infinite overtime. sides will switch every round, and you have to be 2 up over your opponent in order to win in Infinite OT. So this is just going to keep going and going and going, I imagine. Based on the way that these rounds have been playing out, that last half was a back and forth entirely. It was Empire G2, Empire G2, Empire G2. That's the whole half in the previous one. So we'll have to see some pretty amazing play from one of these teams to get us to map number 2, and I can see this just rolling on and on.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
I only allocated spots for 6 rounds of overtime on my notebook.
Yeah. Oh no, I see that.
I could be the real loser.
I actually have a similar problem. I have a few more lines than you, but it could be problematic.
I bought this notebook before they announced the changes to the rounds, so I was like, oh, it's perfectly set up for 10-round games. Oh, now it's 12-round games. Oh, great. I guess I'll just have to make that one work.
And now Infinite OT.
I ask you, make this one quick for both of you, please. We got 5 maps to play, and we got more exciting siege ahead. So, first round of overtime. As we stated and will stress throughout this broadcast, unlimited overtime. Map that the Brazilian casters love to shout from time to time, and they're going to probably have multiple opportunities to do so here, at least given what we've seen on Coastline. We can speculate as much as we want. For the time being, G2 will try to attack this site by taking control of Penthouse first. And the master side of things is they'll drone out both of the 2 rooms, just next to the bathroom. And already Jonas, by that Penthouse wall, is now all the way over towards luggage. He's got Fabian droning him in, he knows to clear up, but he's worried. Where could Joystick be? Keep in mind that the cloaking ability of Joystick be in a position where he might be ever so elusive. That's a down and a finish on the Scyther as Pengu gets the kill that he wants, and Jonas finds Joystick. G2 looking to put 2 together here on the board as they have a good start. Karzeka looking for a body. He knew that there was somebody waiting, but Jonas will win the fight. The Finns are heating up. Shepard is there to try and cool them off, but speaking of Finns, Kanto will finish Shepard, and Pengu stomps shot. Match point, G2.
They only need one more. Now they get to go to defense. Been a while since they've been here, but they've got some reliable sites to go to. Kitchen was a mixed result for G2, but the one site that they really did enjoy going to was the double bar. So you can expect G2 to likely bring us to that blue sunrise bar right this second, as they have yet to lose it. And based on the success they just had, the absolute triumph in the previous round, they're in an absolutely fantastic position, both mentally and in terms of round count. That nade from Pengu, such a powerful play. Jonas on the flank watch as well. We saw Karzeka going for a long flank, or rather joystick, but he was punished and unable to accomplish anything as the Vigil. There were 4 anchors in that round for Empire, and, well, they all just get picked apart one after another. G2 took from inside the building that time around, something that they hadn't been doing as frequently in their previous attacking habit.
Probably the loudest the crowd has been for much of this weekend.
Certainly the loudest.
They were pretty loud for Norarengo.
Oh, that's true.
They were pretty loud for Norarengo.
Attackers have discovered the location
So you
of a bomb.
correctly predicted it as we go back down to the double bars. And I mean, you actually correctly predicted it this time, because last time during the operator phase, you predicted the operator after they picked it and made it seem like you were
5
right.
seconds to go.
I don't know what you're talking about, Parker. That did not happen.
Your tricks don't work on me, you witch. I
Okay.
know.
Attackers
Wow.
recovered the bomb diffuser.
That's a low one.
You got it right this time.
Okay, I did.
You got it right this time.
Yep.
So here's the biggest problem that G2 had when they were defending, is that they would lose a body early on. Jonas was usually one of the people who would fall early, possibly even Kanto or Ketty.
Yep.
Sometimes it was Fabian. Well, you've got Jonas upstairs in Penthouse. Theater. He's going to be sitting over in Theater. He's got the jammers leading into the Penthouse side. And Jonas, just simply wait. See if he'll die early, or if he'll actually able to walk away with an opening frag this time.
Fabian is the player inside of the South office, and he has been doing so much work throughout this match. I definitely expect if Empire decide to confront him, he's going to punish them for that control. At least likely get 1 kill out of that engagement. But Empire is going to clear upstairs first before they start pushing the site at the bottom. Ooh, Karzeka nearly coming into an engagement there with Fabian. He's going to keep opening up holes, but Fabian getting shot from above, and he'll get finished off by the nade. Scyther, good coordination there with Karzeka to get that kill. And it's 1 rotation from Kanto Raketti. And, well, I falsely predicted that Fabian would punish Empire for that control, and it's going to get even worse for G2 as Shock eliminates Pengu. So here we go. It's looking a lot like the last round, but now a complete mirror image as Empire are the ones in control.
You said this, these teams go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth again.
Yep.
That's exactly what's happening, at least for the time being. But as we've talked about many times, the dreaded 5v3 advantage, where teams start to take chances and you can easily lose control if you get a little bit too aggressive. Now, Team Empire's been bringing a hard breacher almost every single attack, if not every attack, and hear one exothermic charge go off, which is not a sound that you are used to hearing on Coastline. Expecting there to be a body down in courtyard. There's Karzeka. How does he land that shot onto Jonas? Jonas completely unaware of Karzeka's position. Goga and Kanto will be the only two remaining members. There's Kanto, but he loses it to Karzeka. Scyther is there. Empire equalizes. How does that even happen? Where do they come from? And Empire just dive on him, and we will be back tied up.
And if I'm not mistaken, another perfect round. We've been having so many of these throughout this match. And here we go, 7-7, as you said. A constant back and forth. And here it is now Empire's turn to go onto defense. G2 will have to attack. And it's going to be, looks like, billiards. No success for the defenders so far in OT. But a pretty substantial attackers favored OT start.
It's a great play by Shock, wow. Karzeka knows that there's a body there, he's got a drone over top of it, takes out Jonas as the mute is caught, and Karzeka looks for the other body. It's nice aiming from Karzeka, who's a bit of a slower start to a lot of these matches. Like you said, he's not exactly been the top performer that he has been online. He could just be coming down to land pressure as well.
So, Empire setting themselves up by billiards here. Now, this was a round that, if I'm not mistaken, actually a site that Empire are pretty good at holding. They've had a decent track record here so far. Bit of a back and forth. A couple rounds where we saw G2 clearing through the building on this site and actually have a lot of success. They were able to take out the anchors one by one. Joystick tries to go for deep roams here quite a lot by the kitchen area using Vigil, and he gets punished for it more often than not. It's when Joystick goes for runouts on this site that Empire sees success. Usually he is able to accomplish his goal, do some damage if not get a kill. And I'm sure that's what we're going to see from Joystick again, as he actually is already running out right now, and it's going to be on the northeast corner. Nobody will be punished except for Joystick. Oh, Kanto, excellent positioning and timing to land that shot. And now Empire are the ones that find themselves in a tricky spot following one of Joystick's runouts.
That's a big win,
Yeah.
all things considered.
I promise. I see what you did there.
That's the last time I'm going to say
Drop
it.
the bomb diffuser.
But yeah, Joystick taking a big gamble. Jonas, I'm assuming screen peeking. I think that breaks some kind of rules when you're all sitting around the TV playing GoldenEye, split screen. Can't do that, Jonas.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So,
Attackers dropped the
Pengu pick
diffuser.
up that diffuser, and he's sitting downstairs. Now, this is not the greatest spot for Pengu if he doesn't drop it. There you go, he's dropped it, Goga picked it back up. There you go, cool. Excellent.
They have hands on.
Shockwave goes down to Empire. This was usually a defender-sided matchup, but the second kill for Kanto, he almost manages to get another unless there's a reinforcement in place of where Shepard is seated. It does look like that's the case. Trying to be the best Goga possible, Scyther just simply sit and wait at the top of those cool vibe stairs. He'll be able to look into Hookah if need be, as Shepard's flank will be covered by a bulletproof camera on that reinforced panel. G2 have been completely foregoing hard breach, so unless you use one of your explosives to take it out, that camera will likely persist for quite some time. So we hit the halfway mark here of this round number 15.
Since there's such low manpower on the side of Empire, they have a tentative hold on the B bomb site, and it's going to be a lot reliant on the C4 and Yokai drones that Empire could have in hand at this moment in time. G2 is getting good information droning into the site right now. They're going to know that there's one in the B hallway and two in the A bomb site. Scyther from that hallway going for a challenge onto the balcony, lands some shots, but not enough to get a kill. And he's also got to hold on to the cool vibe stairs. The lifeline doing so much work, but Scyther, what a flick, despite the lifeline. Taking out Pengu on the main stairs. Goga's in sight, and he's gonna get punished by Scyther as he peeks into the hallway. Fabian also simultaneously managed to get Shepard inside of A. So it's just Scyther and Karzeka. One in A, one in the hallway, and finally Scyther goes down to Kanto. It'll be one for Empire. Karzeka takes out Jonas coming from behind. He's just trying to hold on to that diffuser. 25 seconds left, so G2 need to go for the plant at some point. It's another here for Karzeka, and he goes for the follow-up, and no! Kentaraketti, what a round! And G2 bring it back to match point.
Round 16, Michael, are we about to cast the longest Siege match by round count that we've done here?
I imagine so. I think we've probably have the 2 worst teams ever in history to go against each other in infinite overtime, and at some point it's going to start punishing us.
It's going to punish them.
As well.
The longer that teams play in unlimited overtime, then the longer that fatigue is going to start to set in. You can look at it in traditional sports as well. Teams just find themselves in a position where you get tired after a while. A best of 5 is already grueling for a lot of these teams, but a best of 5 where you are this evenly matched and every single round in overtime means that there could be another round after it with no end in sight, yeah, good luck. But at least we're being treated to some high-tier Siege so far. G2 will go back onto match point as we move into round number 16. G2 just won the hookah bomb site, and well, guess what, Michael? They're going to go to the hookah bomb site.
So, understanding they really like to find themselves at this part of the map on the west side, top floor. Sensible from G2. Only need to win one more round to push us to map number 2, but of course, Empire could bring this back to an 8, or even round count at 8-8. Be pretty high up there in terms of round count overall for Siege matches.
5 seconds remaining.
The setup right now from G2 looks like they're going to be going for a pretty extended roam. That's standard. We've been seeing a bunch of rounds from G2 where they leave 1, max 2 people on the site and have everybody else go for roam early in the round. It has yet to be really truly punished for G2 when that does happen.
Yay, there we go, at 16 rounds played. This will be the longest map ever played in the Pro League or Majors.
Thank you, Spleck.
Or at CGG, or whomever.
Whomever.
Thank you, production team, for popping that up.
Yeah, as well. That's good information to have. So there you go, already longest match.
I'm sure it'll be an exciting one.
By attackers.
Empire is droning out most of the Aqua side of things, and Scyther's looking to stash a drone somewhere under that. It appears to be the billiards table or just below, as there's 2 bodies from Empire, or 2 drones from Empire downstairs in this office. But we don't know the information that there's nobody from G2 playing over there. We got Goga in pink right now, just sitting patiently waiting.
Again, only 2 anchors here for G2 currently. They do have a Pulse potentially underneath who could use some C4 later on. Empire's droning underneath though and trying to clear it. You can see Jonas is playing under VIP right now inside of the kitchen. He could get some good C4s off. Oh, good reactions from Shock. Kentaraketti punished for his aggression. And he's not gonna have enough information to go for that peek. Because of that, he is now the first man down.
So an early loss for G2, and this is the story when G2 goes on to defense, is that they lose bodies early. Now, it was only 90 seconds in, so it's not that early, but if Kanto had a C4 in his hand, then it's obviously a pretty damning blow. Second C4 for G2 will be the hands of Jonas. He'll blow up just above kitchen and net nothing. Nobody from Team Empire have a single scratch on them, at least for the time being.
This wall being opened up is huge for Empire, and it's going to allow them to cut off the rotation, as we have seen many times from both teams so far throughout this match. Shock's actually going to get a kill from it. That's his second in the round. Karzeka will get Pengu as he enters into the site as well. So Empire in a great form right now. And in Aquarium, Karzeka shuts down Fabian on the rotation. It's just Jonas, but he has no C4. Aware he's being hunted by Joystick, but he loses the fight. Empire, what a round. And if I'm not mistaken, another perfect one. Very impressive to see, and we have yet to see a successful defense win in OT. That's so unusual.
Keep in mind that we've played what now, 16 rounds? We're going to round 17.
Yeah.
Scyther has the most deaths on Empire with 10.
Has Empire used their timeout yet?
They have not.
I don't think they have. So I suppose they could still pop it out when they really need to. I imagine they'll do that once they push it to match point. And they want to lock things down, but who knows? Just a expectation, I suppose. We'll be going to kitchen service entrance here for Empire, and wow, look at that shot from Shock. Had an awesome round individually, as did Karzeka. the pinch into the site was pretty standard from Empire. I mean, they took control of Aquarium, they cleared out from underneath, and they pretty much pushed in from VIP at the same time. They cut off the rotation between the sites. Aquarium then was able to push into Billiards. Once in Billiards, they could have gone for a plant, but it wasn't necessary. Why? Because G2 are taking the fight to their enemy, as G2 does. But they were losing those fights, as we've been seeing the defense from both teams do very consistently throughout OT. Kitchen is going to be the first, well, this is going to be the first time we've seen Kitchen in OT, and it's going to be Empire who will bring us there. I imagine these kill counts are going to get very high moving forward.
I mean, this is the perfect plan.
10 seconds to go.
Pengu lost the kill record to Rampion. If you've got unlimited overtime, you can get it back.
Hey, that's
5
true,
seconds
yeah.
to insertion.
What's he got to hit, 23?
23 kills.
Yep, so go Pengu, get those 23.
If you can, if you want to.
If he wants it back.
You got time. You got a ways to go, you only got 8.
Yeah, so he's not in the best position to make that happen. Some of the players on Team Empire are, though, so who knows? This Kitchen defense is very much just that, as Empire have a light hold on the top floor. Joystick will be the one there with Karzeka. So a bit of a duo, but like I said, light hold for top floor control. There is a Valkyrie, but to counter from G2, Cantor Ketty on IQ, which is an operator he has been playing quite a lot of throughout this map. Very potent operator, especially here, even more so when Valkyrie is left unbanned. And Echo as well.
It really does feel like a lot of these rounds, the team that loses the first body loses the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even sometimes they don't get a single kill.
It's almost Karzeka there as he was under fire and manages to escape the hail of bullets that will rain over his head. Jonas is hot on pursuit. Hot in pursuit is through the Billiards. He knows that there might be a body playing over by that musical equipment inside of VIP. There's nobody there. Karzeka's holding the other wall. It's a soft wall. For the time being, I don't think he's been detected at all. Also just have Fabian smashing through that castle barricade at the top of luggage. Shockwave, who was playing up there, will now drop.
Karzeka feeling a lot of pressure, but he's going to at least punish G2, and that's Empire actually sustaining control of the top floor until Goga and Cantor Ketty have something to say about it. Now Empire are punished for their control upstairs, while Shock inside of main lobby is trying his best to rotate and stay alive. Scyther also attempting to support Shock, covering his retreat. Cantor Ketty from above was the one dishing out that damage through the drop down, and he seems to want to drone now, looking for his prey. Shock being on low HP is going to give G2 a good advantage moving forward, but there's still plenty of good anchor play from Empire, and the fact that we've got the C4 potentially on Shepard and the Yokai drones from Scyther, this could still easily be an Empire round despite that damage being done. Fabian missing out very narrowly there on a kill.
Missing out a little bit on that hatch as well. I don't know if that was just a possible swing of frustration or not, maybe even fat-fingered it, though it looked like the intent was there. 45 seconds to work with. G2 have held match point or a tie with Empire through every single round of overtime. Empire have not held a lead since they've gone back. And yeah, Fabian does a I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's a bit frustrated. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe fat fingering as now he'll go back onto his drone. Shockwave is very low. But what else is low is the clock, and that's not going to help G2 at all. Empire just simply needs to wait. You got Yokai drones in effect as well. Gogan in altercation will lose quite a bit of HP. Scyther has been so good. Shock is finally down, but there's a double push from Scyther. He can't get them all, 2 from G2, and Shepard will once again be all on his own, but he takes out Kanto, and where's the other body? It's Fabian through the hole. G2 back to match point, and we'll go to round 18. As G2 have not been able to put this one away just yet. Will something finally change as no team on defense has won an overtime round? Michael.
Well, the Let's Go G2s come out from the crowd to try and enthuse them here in this round. They've gotten so close, but have yet to manage to make it work. And as you said, defense, the side that is definitely not favored here. That was a similar situation to one we've seen Shepard in before, when he wasn't able to clutch it yet again. Reminiscent of the Pengu clutch we saw by Billiards earlier in the match. Kitchen defense here for G2. A lot of these rounds, G2 have been following in the footsteps from Empire in terms of where they're going to defend. They will do that yet again. They're going to have to do something never done before in OT, as you discussed, in order to lock this map out. The operator selection for both teams very standard fare. G2 bringing as much as they can in order to deny. Got lots of Legion traps for information, the mute jammers for the drones. Echo is also being brought for extended site control. That is going to enable G2 yet again to have that off-site roam in abundance. Currently, and it's still in the prep phase, but currently there is only one anchor for G2. And we've seen this multiple times.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
It has yet to be punished by Empire. Partially that's because G2 is very good at rotating back to site when it's necessary. Empire is aware of this and they don't want to take any unnecessary risks. I doubt they will in this round, especially considering they are currently on match point. Maybe when they're feeling a little bit more comfortable moving forward, but not a great opportunity right now to try and go for a rush strat, that's for sure.
I mean, Empire have taken a couple chances when they were on defense, and one of them worked really well. That was the round that I think Joystick won at the early onset, but then after that, didn't really do too much for them here. Just a little bit of a note as we are now in round number 18. If you ever feel bad about yourself, just realize that you can't feel as badly as Penthouse Theater, because for 18 rounds, the longest match of Rainbow Six Siege, nobody's wanted to play with you.
That's accurate, yeah.
It's very sad.
Nobody's gone to Penthouse yet. Maybe because the mirror's been banned, that would make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, it's not a great sight, and it is a little bit sad, Parker, you're right. So, Empire looking to clear upstairs first things first. They've been shut down and punished for this before, but it's not going to be the case this time as Pengu goes down, and oh, a Yokai drone to boot. I'm not sure what Jonas or Goga was thinking with the Yokai drone there. There was no one on G2 to use that drone to get a kill. Scyther's going to miss some shots there through the bars very narrowly as well. He will land at least one, I believe, onto Jonas as he fell back.
Jonas is prone on the floor right now, waiting for Shockwave inside of luggage. This could get real messy. Shockwave has been so accurate. He has been the Jonas slayer, but there's Shepard on the window. Control of luggage is gone, and Shockwave just simply waiting to see exactly what's going to happen with the rest of his team. Now it's Kanto Raketti in tough spot. He's going to peek on up, but Shockwave is holding that angle as well. Kanto will head back downstairs. Shockwave on drone will probably find Kanto. So there you have it. Now Fabian by the main doorway, he knows there's a body nearby somewhere. He'll head in towards the bathroom, the safety of a wall that he cannot shoot through. But look at Shockwave, he does find Kanto. The attackers are just so good. And Fabian choking on his shots, they're not able to land what's needed. He's going to have to double up with Goga. 45 seconds left, and Team Empire in a position, and a good one. They've had so many flawless rounds, they are primed and ready for another. It's going to continue. Goga is just eliminated, but Fabian taking out Joystick. Shepard holding that diffuser. Things not going well for Fabian for the time being. He gets caught by Scyther. Is he able to land the shots? Oh, it's an absolute potato fest. Nobody can hit anything. Finally, Shockwave does. He's credited with that kill, and we'll go to round number 19. It's not a flawless round for Empire, but pretty darn close.
Both teams having an interesting round there, and as you said, round 19, it just keeps going. No one having any amount of success here so far on the defense. And that last round, so many players from G2 got picked off one after another. Empire were able to translate that into an easy push onto the site. It's more of the same, to be honest with you, Parker. The roam clear from both teams is very proficient. The roamers are getting shut down. When one of these teams decides to go for a full anchor, they're punished. Why? Because both of these teams are very good at setting up around a site if you're not going to deny the periphery room. So every single round, we see the fact that both these teams play similarly, working against each of them in turn, and giving us a constant back and forth. It's quite peculiar.
Here's how it works. G2 takes the lead, Empire ties. That's it. That's the whole story.
Yep, that's OT for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite interesting. Empire has yet to break away, of course, because, well, they started on defense, so yeah, that would make sense when you're going back and forth.
10 seconds remaining.
It's going to be billiards this time for Empire. They have tried this before, actually. They've tried this multiple times, so twice, in fact, in OT alone.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
And they haven't been able to make it work yet.
Oh, it's funny, we were looking at the schedule, and it says they've allocated 5 hours for the grand final. We think, okay, well, that's it. Every single map goes at full distance. We don't see any fast rounds, etc. We're thinking to ourselves, like, yeah, we might see 5 maps between these teams, but I mean, surely it's not going to take 5 hours, right? Apparently, we were wrong, as we were going to spend 5 hours on Coastline.
Attackers have recovered their
Interesting
diffuser.
stat there. The opening duel has gone on to win the round 72% of the time on this map, so that is how important. You almost have a 3 in 4 chance to be able to do this if you get the very first pick.
So, if Empire manages to win this, yeah, they won't have won the match just yet. Pengu missing out on an opportunity there, but he goes for the follow-up, and again, just a few inches off. Shock could punish him. He set up a nice angle, but oh, more holes in the floor from Pengu. This anchor position has been read by G2 on how important it is for Empire and countered very directly. I love the play from Pengu and G2's awareness here in this round.
A lot of patience. That diffuser is still down as well on the foyer by Sunrise Bar, as Pengu will take out most of the floor that he can see, or in his case, the roof, ceiling above him, and go on to drone. Diffuser is still down. Nobody's bothered to retrieve it. You got to imagine it's probably going to be Goga.
Yeah.
He's going to go get it.
It'll be Goga.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Goga's currently outside on the hookah balcony doing his job as effectively as possible. And we're 90 seconds in and really nothing between these two teams has occurred in terms of contact, which is the slowest pace that has been set.
We've seen full anchor from Empire, and we're seeing it again. And again, it will be punished. Pengu, an excellent nade onto Karzeka. Fabian and Cancer Kenny get their own kills. And that's full control of A as well as B. It's just Scyther now who will get one for himself. Following his teammate also taking out one, it's 1 versus 3. This is technically winnable, but he's spotted out. The smoke saves him, allows for rotation, but it doesn't matter. Jonas corrects his mistake by getting the shot onto Scyther, and another attacking win.
Match point G2. Again, and again, and again, and again. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth match point for G2.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, they've been getting it a lot, and we're going into double digits here for the round counts of individual teams overall on round number 20. So, Penthouse Theater is locked in. The very first time we're gonna see it here in the longest match in Pro League tournament history for Siege.
It had to come out at some point.
It
right?
did.
It had to come out at some point.
Certainly. I think this is a good enough time as any, considering neither of these teams have managed to win a defense. Hey, throw a curveball. What the heck? It's also going to be Clash from G2, which we've talked about before. It hasn't worked very well for G2 in the past, but hey, curveball. Why not? In this situation, I think it's appropriate timing.
You take chances, right?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever seen double digits up there in the...
Same.
Yeah, never seen it.
It looks weird.
I didn't even know what it looked like.
It got smaller. The text got smaller, and it's weird.
10 seconds to go.
I've never
Bigger
seen
number, smaller text. True. There you go.
It's accurate.
5 seconds
So,
left before insertion.
okay, a setup on Penthouse, and you can see that
Attackers have
Clash
recovered their diffuser.
is going to be
Attackers
holding
are
on to
moving
those
to
main
defuse the bomb.
stairs.
Defender has left
And it's
the
going to be
area
a
of
double,
operation.
no triple ACOG for G2, which makes sense on this site.
We've been very critical and a little bit skeptical of the Clash play from G2. It hasn't really looked like the most effective operator to use because G2 has largely used Jonas on roam with that Clash. So now, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to keep him nestled deep inside of sight. Yikes. I don't know. I'm mimicking just what you said earlier. But I wanted
It's true, though.
I wanted to comment on it as well.
It's-
I wanted to comment too. Because it's every single time we see G2 pull out the Clash, it really does not work.
Yeah, it's been something that teams have time and time again hurt them for, as it just doesn't seem to work with G2's play style. But like I said earlier, maybe this is the right time for a curveball. I think, no, not maybe. Certainly it is. We haven't seen a defensive win yet. They need to do something surprising in order to achieve that.
The previous round, G2 had nothing really going for them except for presence and state of mind as to where Empire was. The very first kill came about a minute to go, give or take, and it looks like we're in similar circumstances with this round as well. As that aggression from Team Empire to walk in, take an early pick is completely absent. In fact, G2 is still able to roam, and they haven't had an opening death or an opening kill yet. At 72% of the time, statistic will weigh in the minds of us and the viewers for quite a while to see which of these two teams will be able to draw first blood. It's just over halfway through the round. Empire droning themselves in around VIP, now into Penthouse, and possibly being able to establish a drone somewhere nearby where that intel can be so imperative for their push. The Clash is downstairs inside of bathroom. Michael, the Clash not being nestled inside a site, mistake or no?
I think the way that we've seen G2 play Clash in the past, this is not necessarily a mistake or no, it just seems to be them trying to go with a new mindset on how they're going to play it. He has fallen back to the 90 hallway, so this is as good a position as any he can call for his teammates. And while there's nobody on B, there are plenty of people from G2 who can at any moment spring into action to deny B. Thermite is going to be very important on this round, but the VIP wall has yet to be opened with only 40 seconds left.
There's no mute and there's no bandit in place. There's no denial. Down goes Fabi, and Joystick was just patiently waiting for the pulse. And now Empire look to try and push in on the site. Jonas is still upright. He's still going to be able to slow everybody down as G2 are probably in their best position to put this away that they've been in so far. And Empire will need to be hasty as Goga gets eliminated by Shepard. There's Karzeka too, and Empire pulling this together in the dying seconds, but Kanto will answer back. Karzeka circles on in. Kanto, you have to hurry as Jonas is gonna get gunned down. Plant going down, Joystick sprints out. Karzeka is just waiting and guarding the doorway as Kanto picks one off, but Scyther finishes it, and there's gonna be no match point again. We go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth again. Round 21 between these two teams.
I slightly more efficiently set up my notebook to account for overtime, having, I think, quite a lot of redundant lines, and I need a new page now. That last round from Empire was honestly really impressive.
Crowd coming to life.
Let's go G2.
No, there's Empire crowd. There's Empire chants in there as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's a mixed crowd. It's a mixed opinion here. I mean, both of these teams having such an interesting story. G2, the Titans of Siege, the most victorious team ever in Siege's history. And Empire, brand new, really, all things considered. Just getting into this level of play. That's a team kill, but Cypher did lock it out, so that's the most important thing. We're gonna be going to double bar here, ladies and gentlemen, for Empire's next attempt at a successful defense.
Here's a fun fact for you. G2 have played more rounds in this map against Empire than they did against 2 maps for Reciprocity yesterday.
Oof. That's heavy.
That's a long one.
Yep.
That's a long one. So we've almost played 2 full maps of Siege now, and we are still on map 1, and we are still in a best of 5.
I mean, in theory, we have, depending on the way the map plays out, right? So, yeah, this has been an interesting one. Empire going on to defense. Again, double bar. No one's done a defense yet. They're setting themselves up with a roam this time. Empire has been going for mainly anchor plays thus far. Currently, they have 2 people on site. That's Behold. And the rest of Empire are going to be above, or so it seems. G2 is aware of this. They're going to start droning it out. Having gathered this information, it's going to allow them to better calculate where they need to attack. You're going to see already some top floor presence from G2 as they start pushing into Aquarium, which is not being held directly by Empire. Holding on to Billiards and Hookah, which they can, punish Aquarium from, but it's not exactly an anchor position, nor somewhere you can hold as a defender. We've seen some players try to hold behind the Aquarium bar, but it's a difficult position to pull off and an unnecessary risk, I think, especially when the stakes are so high. Pagu just trying to watch for the runouts here. Goga also watching for the runouts, as well as Fabian. They're all expecting somebody to run out from the B window, and they were very nearly right. We did see somebody from Empire pushing toward it, but there was a fallback. Good call there from Empire. They would have been punished.
Joystick taking a lot of damage in the very early position inside of Hookah, but there's a body that gets down to Kanto. Up on the tarps, he's going to try to crawl to safety.
It's possible they don't know that downed Kanto Ketty, as he is allowed to fall back.
Jonas is in. He'll be able to take out Joystick. Shockwave unable to do much else to help his team. Kanto has not been picked up just yet. So it's technically 4v4. There you go. 5v4 in favor of G2 as Kanto gets brought back to life. It's over by his spawn. Karzeka takes out Jonas inside of Aquarium. He's going to drop as well if he wants to go through the hatch if necessary. It's a full court press, and there comes Shockwave, but no! Pengu slaps Shockwave, pulls out the knife, and then tears up the wall as Karzeka runs out. And oh my goodness, a good gamble, and Pengu gets softened up in the process, but still a big win for G2 on that one.
Such a save there from Pengu, and quite possibly the difference maker in this round. C4 from Scyther will miss, and that's truly unfortunate for Empire. Karzeka's trying to cover, and he will! Pengu does take out Scyther, though, on the entry, and Fabian will follow it up with a kill onto Shepard, leaving just Karzeka. He needs to get quite a lot of kills, and he's going to get another one onto Cantor Raketti. He's had a fantastic round so far. Pengu is lit up, and there's only 25 seconds, so this is definitely winnable. Pengu's waiting for Fabian to cover him, so allowing for the plant. The nade comes out to deny one of the rotations, and it'll detonate, so the denial no longer in. C4 from Karzeka, he has information, and it lands! Pengu goes down! There's only 9 seconds, and Fabian's going for the rush, but Katie lands the shot! Yeah! What a round from Fabian! And G2 keep it going. Back to match points.
How much of this can your heart take? This feels like the 5th map. Yeah. This is the first map. Karzeka's sitting currently at 21 kills right now. He is 1 kill away from tying Rampy's record for most kills in a single map. Now,
sorry, Rampy.
I think there needs to be an asterisk, as there was with Pengu's record and there was with Rampy's, but still, the record will go to Karzeka if he's able to take 1 or more kills.
Hackers have located a bomb.
So,
Michael, no defending victory.
none in overtime. No.
We're in a defender favored meta, by the way.
I think, Parker, this map alone is going to substantially hurt the win rate for defense on Coastline, and that's worth noting. We're going to be going to the double bar again, but this time it will be G2 to try and defend it. Karzeka came so close right there. So close.
He missed a couple shots.
That's all it is.
That's really all it is. He missed a couple shots.
Yeah. I think that's really a testament to the quality of both of these teams, how close they are in this competition. And it's already shaping up to be one of the better finals we've ever had at one of these majors.
I feel like both these teams found out how hard it would be to top the EG Penta match from last year.
Yeah, last Invitational final.
What can we do?
Yeah.
We can play 3 times as many rounds as them? Bye-bye joystick. What do we say about opening kills? G2 will get the very first one as Kanto with the same peak. He always does. Well, he gets away with it this time.
That's the momentum builder there for G2, and quite possibly the very last thing that's going to push around towards G2's favor on defense. They need to fully capitalize on that and carry this into another round win. If they're able to get it, we will see map number 2 right after. But again, still no defensive wins. Relying on that statistic we saw earlier, around 70% of the time when a team gets an opening frag, they are winning in this match.
Bomb has been located.
That's what G2 needs to rely on here. They've got to hold out for 2 whole minutes, though. The round only really just started, all things considered.
The X factor for Team Empire has always been Scyther, but bye-bye Karzeka. Rampy, for this round, your record's safe for the time being. Bye-bye to Karzeka. The Sledge trying to use that verticality, and the C4 will be his undoing. This is a good position for G2, who want to show some mercy to the crowd. Probably want this to continue forever, but we have to go to a second map at some point.
Well, Empire wants it to continue forever at this point. Up against a wall, 3 players and a dream to take map number 1. So much put into this one map alone in a best-of-5 series. It's truly impressive from both squads, but G2 are in such an amazing position to just end it outright. The clutch factor for G2 has been a huge story so far. Not so much for Empire, not nearly as much at least.
Trying to figure out if there's a yokai drone by the window sitting inside a blue bar. There's a grenade that's going to go in. It takes out a bit of Pengu's HP, but ultimately the mute will survive for the time being. There's a minute to go, and control of that office is in favor of Empire. They're a bit split up for the time being, as they also sit outside of the Sunrise foyer. Shock will give his position away as he tries to go for a couple of hands to present themselves, but Pengu takes out Shock. It's 2v5. Are we finally going to have a thrilling conclusion here to map number 1? Goga just sitting and waiting, watching. He's got Kanto right next to him. Where are Scyther and Shepard? As they're going to have to hurry, but Shockwave already down. Scyther sprints right in, takes out one. He loses a bit of HP, but he's traded off, and there you finally have it. It might have taken 22 rounds, and the time that most teams would have for 2 maps. The longest match in Rainbow Six Pro League and major history is in the books there, with G2 prevailing by a score of 12-10.
What an excellent win there for G2 and taking the first defense in OT. So quite a long one. It took them a while, that's for sure, but truly impressive. And yes, we can confirm Karzeka, 21 kills, so congratulations, Rampy. You still have it.
Now, because of how long these matches are, we don't usually do this, but we're gonna throw down to our analyst desk and let everybody stretch their legs, because that was essentially 2 full matches, if not more, that we just saw get played. So Milos and the gang, please feel free to break down this marathon match that we just witnessed.
Thank you very much, Intero and Kicks. And first of all, if things could take quite a while here to finish up, but this was a great casting, to say the least. And guess what eases it? A great match. G2 versus Team Empire, Coastline, a map both teams are great on, and we get the longest match and map. That is literally 1 map out of the best of 5 in the history of Rainbow Six professional play at the highest tier, 22 rounds in total.
And it's only the first one of a best of 5.
We're not even halfway there. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, we're talking about 105 rounds in total if we keep going at this pace for a best of 5. I mean, if you do some quick maths there, you can tell that's gonna be a pretty long day.
Yeah, I hope everybody here brought some sleeping bags with them, because we might be in here for quite a while, to say the least. But gentlemen, this entire game has been back and forth since the very first second. Let's talk about those operator bans. I want to highlight specifically the Jaeger. We all kind of looked at one another when it happened, and we all thought, okay, this is specifically for Coastline, but also to be able to remove that off of joystick. If you want to talk about Coastline itself, how does the Jaeger ban affect the map on its own, Alex?
Well, so especially with a team like Empire, where we know they're going to be on the stairs and cool vibes, we kind of know exactly where they're going to be set up by the bar and pool area as well. By banning out Jaeger and running double nades, you can clear out so many spots. But we didn't really see G2 benefit too much of the nades. There was a few rounds where they got some good kills, but it was rare that we saw more than 1 nade kill.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They were bringing both Sledge and Buck, so a ton of nades, even in that last round, and that's the thing that was really sticking out to me. We saw an attempted nade onto Pengu in the blue bar, and a lot of it, in my opinion, came down to, on the Sunrise bar, there were a lot of really strong positions being held by the defenders, and I would have liked that kind of, that nade utility is the perfect thing. And typically, you don't just go in and locate players and then nade them, because you always have to deal with Jaeger devices, but not so in this match, and I think that there was a bit of space there that we could have seen a lot more abuse from on the attacking side of Empire.
Especially from G2, as G2 goes in and bans Jaeger, they could really have benefited way more off that if their nades were a little bit more on point, or if they even just brought more of them. But, I mean, attack wins everything apparently on that map anyway.
Yeah, as the boys pointed out during the cast, defender meta, right? Aggressive meta game, etc. But Coastline also, when the 2 teams are very close, then it turns more defender-sided. You know what? Why do we even get all of this, all of these papers, all of these numbers? I don't think they matter anything when you put 2 of the best teams in the world against one another and put them in front of a crowd like this in Montreal. It's not gonna go how you'd expect. The numbers won't tell you anything, apparently, and it's gonna be a sluggerfest. It goes the distance, 22 rounds. This has to be not only a mental, but physical exhaustion for every single player, even just with one of these maps.
Absolutely, and honestly, if you look at the rounds themselves, going from the first half and the second half, that was a 3-3 split. both halves of regulation. That means we had 6 defense wins in the first 12 rounds. And then in overtime, by the way, we had 9 overtime rounds. There was a single defense win. So I think a lot of this comes down to, in a situation where you back up against the wall, you're in overtime here, infinite overtime. Both of these teams step up and none of them will concede any attack rounds.
Now I'm going to double down on this and focus on you for this one, Dev. We saw the Jaeger ban come out. Usually that'll affect joystick, but he just switched around and played Vigil. And we saw Pengu was sitting in penthouse in the bathroom. He droned in, didn't spot the Vigil, because guess what? That ERC was active, and you couldn't see where he was, and it just pounced on him. At this point, is there any operator you could ban to limit joystick, or do you just have to ban him himself at that point?
It's funny, really, because, I mean, you can give the credit here to joystick, but at the same time, Pengu, that was a huge misplay. I mean, yeah, of course, that's Vigil's ability. He can hide from drones. But if you're droning out an area where you want to enter, and you know that you've got those visual signals on your drone, you know that there's a possibility for someone to be nearby, you don't just drop into the hatch and walk willy-nilly through that area, because you're going to get punished, and that's exactly what happened. So, yes, joystick is insane, and he can perform on a variety of operators. I mean, if you're talking about direct comparison, Vigil, Jaeger, similar primary weapons on some part in terms of damage and fire rate, so a bit of overlap there. But it came down to some oversight on the side of G2.
Yeah, but they're able to crunch it out at the end, Alex. And how is G2 able to fill that gap finally to get the 2 rounds in a row to take it home?
I think this reflects a little bit of what we saw last year as well. They have this endurance that no one else has, and when you play 22 rounds on one map, then going into the next one, that's exactly what you're going to need, right? I was a bit sad to see Jonas in the position with the clash behind the bed. That could have been a really good strat for them if everyone else didn't die early on, because you're not going to be able to do much as a clash alone. But the crossfire they could have set up there, and the way that could have forced Empire to attack in certain ways, it didn't really work out for them. But I feel like they could have given that another try.
And you can look at it from your experience back in year 1 compared to this, but still, you can draw the conclusions when it comes to preparation and mental setup from one map to the other. And how do you think both teams should be kind of trying to get into map number 2? Because we're going to go for border, and that was Empire's pick.
I don't know how Empire's going to deal with it. We kind of have a good idea what G2 does when they're behind the stage, having a bit of a chat. From Empire's point of view, I think there's still so much adrenaline running through them just because they are here at the finals for the first time, right? It's got to keep you going for at least a good couple of maps.
Yeah, you kind of have to stretch out that energy, play the long game, and again, as you mentioned, that was what G2 were so good at doing last year against EG, and even coming back from the deficit. Now, we'll focus on map number 2. Got 22 rounds on the very first map. Borders, map number 2. First one was G2's pick. Empire is the picker of this second one. What do you expect on Borders, starting off with operator bans?
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about what we've just seen in comparison to what we might see, Jaeger, right? So we emphasized really heavily on that Jaeger ban on Coastline. If you're going to ban Jaeger on any map, Border, as a defender, that's where I am most terrified of you banning Jaeger. Whether it's a Ying or grenades, I don't want to face that at all, and it's just such a powerful operator to ban.
And Alex, from your side, you mentioned Jonas's clash play. Border has also been famous for that clash play, especially when you're playing in Archives and Armory. How would you run it in this position to shut down Empire?
I'd like to see them try some Tellers or Customs with Clash, maybe. We're most likely going to see Empire ban Mirror and Glass, right? So a little bit of a clash in Customs could be interesting to see, especially around the Armory area, just to limit the control of the main stairs in the hallway.
Darn good. Well, Dock play has not been super present, right? Still quite a bit of it, actually. Rook and Dock, both played by Empire fairly consistently, and it does make sense, right? You ban the Jaeger, well, what's the next best thing to try and help you out on the defense? You play the Rook. This way, at least you can guarantee that the player gets hit by the grenade. Well, they're DBNO, they're still available, you can pick them up, and you run both, or you're on the Dock in tandem with the Rook. This way you can pick players up. It makes a lot of sense.
And something a lot of people might not know is that, seeing as they can't see the points there, they can be tapping the scoreboard all the time when they throw nades, just to give an idea of, when people get injured.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an explosive map number 1, but our players are back and our casters, they've kind of relaxed their throats for just a bit. But a cutthroat game on Border is what's coming up. Intero, Kickstar, take it away.
Thank you so much, Milos, and what an absolute stretch of Rainbow Six Siege that was.
Yeah, longest match ever, as we've discussed many times, and that's really, truly an impressive feat. And in the first map of a best of 5, I've said it before, I'll say it again, these are two of the worst teams to go up against each other in such a series, and it's probably going to give us a lot of infinite OT moving forward. I expect to see this for the majority of the maps through this series, so it's going to be a long day into potentially a long night.
The one good thing that Border has going for it, just in regards to unlimited OT, is that the customs and the teller's washroom, bathroom sites are not as strong as the main 2 sites. Now, because of this, because of the way that the overtime parameters work, a map like Coastline, where every single site can pop up and cause trouble to both attackers and defenders, there's a likelihood that on a map like Coastline, you can keep going forever. Eventually, at some point, something has to break on Border, because no matter how many times you win on defense, you gotta go to customs, or you gotta go to tellers, and it doesn't really work all that well on those sites.
Well, we're gonna find out as we load into Border. Map number 2 for this series. We'll have G2 starting on defense and Empire starting on attack. Because of that, G2 get to ban first, as is the norm.
All right, Jaeger ban incoming, that was speculated.
I do anticipate it. Dev was absolutely right when he said that one of the best maps to ban Jaeger on is Border. But yeah, I mean, the Jaeger ban on Coastline was also very important. I think in general, taking out Jaeger, period, is important. As is Ashe when you are worried about confronting her. It's a pretty big and deliberate counter pick there for G2.
Monty banned by Empire, they don't want to have to deal with the shields of Pengu.
It's true, it's true. This is, by the way, the second map in a row where G2 will start on defense.
The mirror ban from Empire.
Okay, standard stuff here. Will the Jaeger come out is the question. The answer...
Hey!
There it is.
There
Answer
it
yes.
is. I mean, he's so good on Jaeger. Joystick is so good on Jaeger, but the Vigil play on Coastline was so impressive as well. Being able to flex onto other roles, man. I think after his showing, though, in this tournament in particular, Jaeger is going to be an insta-ban. It was for a while, kind of slowed down. Now it's back.
Now here's the thing about Jaeger. He's one of the very few operators who has a distinctly unique ability in terms of its baseline, its function, which is catching those throwables, catching those projectiles. Technically speaking, no one else directly does that. Of course, there are some other circumstances, like for electricity, where you can have that happen, but it's unusual and it's not the design purpose of certain operators. So Jaeger is unique in that regard, and getting rid of him is going to hurt both teams on the defensive half. But when you are confident in your ability to use both projectiles and throwables to your advantage, more so than you would expect the enemy team to be capable of, hey, why not get rid of Jaeger? And more importantly, as stated before, yeah, Joystick's very good on Jaeger. So G2, good bans. I think overall they're trying to isolate one player in particular, that's Joystick, and an Ashe Jaeger ban going to probably hurt him in his play here. But he has been playing a lot of Jackal, so we'll probably see that quite a lot.
They've been trying to find out exactly what Joystick's flexibility is going to be, whether it's going to be on IQ, whether it's going to be on that Jackal, as you noted. I think the IQ is probably a better choice for him, but
IQ or Jackal, I mean, on
both work.
Okay, so this is one of G2's least played maps, as we just saw there in the pop-up. And yeah, I think on IQ, period, you're absolutely right. She's gonna be better than Jackal on Border.
Especially when you can do this, especially when you look on G2's side of things, and what do you have? Mute jammers, bandit batteries, a pulse, and 2 yokai drones to boot.
Yeah, you have to bring the IQ, especially when the Valkyrie's not banned, and the IQ's not banned. Pulse is banned. I mean, we've been seeing so much Pulse in this tournament. He's been such a powerhouse of an operator so far. He clearly has become one of the mainstay information ops. Fabian, speaking of, on Pulse, takes out Scyther, and Jonas follows that up with a kill onto Karzeka. So it's going to be some really good frags from G2 to start things off. The aggression teller's working, but it'll finally be punished as Joystick takes out Jonas on the east stairs.
Look at how little HP Joystick has. Now you got 2 minutes left. Joystick can go for a reset if he wants. He's sitting somewhere around 15, 16 HP, but there you go. The UMP is a low DPS. there wasn't much left to joystick. He peeks the double windows, looking in the lobby. He falls. Down goes Diffuser. Shockwave is in, watching the windows, heading on over from Tellers over towards bathrooms. There's one member at G2 who's going to be just on the other side of that castle barricade. Tag in a yokai to try and give you the information that you need, and well, Shockwave could be in for a rough ride downstairs if his position is given away. We'll leave a lot on Shepard to try and keep the rest of the round in check here. One thing worth mentioning is that the longer that this series goes, you have to expect it will benefit a team like G2. They've been around longer, they've played a lot more matches, they're used to the grind, whereas Empire is just a team who has not been around as frequently. If Empire can stick with it, that'd be an extremely impressive feat.
Gonna have to be a clutch here for Empire. The reason G2, in my mind, was able to win the last map was the clutch factor. They won a lot of rounds they shouldn't have. Empire, not so much. When Empire gets locked out, put in a losing position, it's really difficult for them to make the comeback happen. Gonna start things off here with a nice kill onto Cantor Raketti, though, so it's still very much in the cards for Empire. Brought this back to a much more manageable man differential as Shock going for the nade, or just prepping it, getting ready for a potential grenade into sight. Shepard, meanwhile, going to be coming by Customs. Now, Shepard has the diffuser, and he's pretty far from the site. Probably going to go for a push into B, potentially A, based on what's going on with this lifeline. Soft destruction here from Shock, going to work in his advantage. He sees the knee of the Pulse, but doesn't decide to shoot. Goes for the shotgun instead, and that's actually the Castle who goes down. Fabian elsewhere. Still control bathroom for the defender. Wow, what a shot from Gogo! No, it's a trade! In a 1 versus 1 now. Shock find themselves in a much more winnable position. Fabian just outside of sight, but he just needs to wait. 3 seconds left, the shotgun from Shock, and he goes for the pre-fires, but he's not able to find anybody, and it's a successful defense for G2. And I stumble over myself at least 3 times.
Was it 3? Only 3?
4 possibly.
That's okay. I saw you at that time. You're like, oh, dear God.
Oh no.
I did it again.
So, Armory defense next for G2 because they went to ventilation for the very first round. That was a little bit of a trip up, and it did catch Empire off guard.
So we'll go to Armory. A good choice there of sites, and then they will leave Customs as well as bathroom, as we mentioned before.
Okay.
As the 2, but
okay.
Okay, what?
You didn't see it? That's good. That's good you did, Parker.
I didn't see it. I was looking at the other screen.
Don't you worry your little head about it. It's okay.
Tell me what it was.
No.
Tell me later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay, cool. It was a nice run out from Pengu as well as it's being shown on the screen. These are the kind of things that when we play on LAN, we have the opportunity to catch the perspective of every single person in the match.
Yeah.
It gives us the ability to show you what happened if it doesn't get caught. Sometimes things can get a little messy. You end up with multiple kills happening over a very short period of time. You just can't capture them all. So thank you. That replay system is great. Here's something a little abnormal. Pengu is going to be bringing impact grenades on smoke. There's only one set of barbed wire. On G2, that's going to be Gogo. You got to imagine. Impact grenades on a smoke, rotates, or deliberate impact trigger.
I mean, a lot of the counterplay in terms of hard destruction is less prevalent on this map in general, I find. Usually the hard destruction is a foregone conclusion and teams will play around the expectation that a wall is to be opened. We have seen some deliberate plays from impact tricking, for example, on Armory Wall. You leave one of the panels soft so you can do just that, and that makes it a little bit harder for the attackers to get control of Armory Wall if that's the push they're committed to. But it's not as common here on board. This is interesting though, the way that the bandits are set up.
Bomb has been located.
They're just trying to hold on to Office. And there's actually no presence in Office itself from G2. They're simply delaying the push right now.
3 of the G2 members are actually downstairs. Jonas is over by the main office, he goes into Tellers, or the main lobby, he goes into Tellers. You've also got Fabian down by the main stairs. There you go, Kanto gets back to site. So Kanto and Pengu are both in sight. Goga sitting over by A. There's your lineup for the time being for G2's side of things. G2 went for an early push on ventilation workshops, got under the skin of Empire, and it netted them 2 kills, and despite that, Empire was able to close that gap very fast and draw even. But it's been a slow contest. 1 minute and 20 seconds, Empire in. You've got Karzeka right now in waiting room. Canto Raketti finds a joystick. Joystick had an okay round, an okay match in particular. There's Karzeka, but finally lands the shots on Jonas, almost losing it. I don't think the Bandit thought that East Stairs was going to go that way. Pengu on a run out, gets spotted, the grenade will go on in, and Pengu will manage to get away.
Kantaketri setting up a C4, and he's gonna land it perfectly on top of East Stairs. 2 for him, and Empire find themselves seemingly already out of the round.
He's still got some hard destruction for Scyther. Shockwave, a bit of frustration. He'll go on to Repel. He doesn't really have much to clear out the Bandit batteries. I mean, he could technically buck them from below. He doesn't have any frag grenades.
Look at this angle from Goga. All the way from Armory Lockers onto that north.
How do you get
balcony.
up there, Goga?
He made the vault from the little half wall.
I know how to get up there. I was making a joke.
Okay, all right,
Like,
Parker.
as in, like, it's absurd that he's up there.
It is absurd, Parker. You're absolutely right, and that is a crazy angle, one we very rarely see utilized. I don't think has been on camera until just now.
There's nobody over there now. Shockwave is so close. Shockwave might get spotted if he looks the wrong way. 30 seconds to go. Scyther will need to waltz on into the site and go for a plant. He hasn't used his X-Kairos yet. He hasn't really needed to, as all the Bandit batteries are stopping him for the time being. Oh, but there's Kanto, his 3rd kill, and Pengu takes out Shockwave, and G2 are fired up. They'll take it 2-0. A very quick round with a bit of a flurry at the end there.
The trepidation showing from Team Empire in the way that they're attacking in these rounds is pretty obvious. They're trying their best to establish some control over Office, but despite the light hold that G2 has on Office, Empire are still struggling. That round was an absolute lockout. G2 had control for the whole extent of it. And it all is in this room right here, where Kantaketri had an excellent one. And I believe actually a 4K total for Kantaketri, as he got that early pick that we missed earlier in the round. So an impressive round, that's for sure. Pengu locking it out, the last one. And it's really that last round was the story of Kantaketri getting for an Office by himself. It'll be Tellers as the next site. Since Ventilation and Armory have been held, they have to go to one of the 2 off-sites, Customs or Tellers. And this is the low-hanging fruit, as we like to say, where you can potentially bring it back as an attacking team and start getting those rounds in your favor. But with the way, again, we've been seeing Empire attack, I'm not so sure.
10 seconds left before insertion.
The grand final of the Paris Major was 24 rounds in total in a best of 5. This is our 25th round played today, and we're on map 2.
It's been a long match so far. It's been a long match.
Thank you, EG, for sending us home early that day.
There's a staring contest going on between Troy and Parker right now.
He chose to sit right next to the booth.
I wish you could see it. All right, so G2 is setting themselves up to hold on Tellers. They've got a very deep roam going on here, all the way over by Customs, even inside of Armory. They're just doing their best to set themselves up to fall back. And that makes sense. On this site, you have to have vertical control, but if you allow the enemy to set up against you, it's going to be a tricky time to hold.
What was the major stumbling block of Empire last round? It was taking control of Office and taking control of Archives. And what looks to be a similar stumbling block this time. A C4 gets tossed out, but it will miss Shockwave, taking so much damage, but still ends up alive. As the throwables from both Kanto and Shockwave are used to great effect. It's now Jonas in trouble inside of the Armory, and he'll hit the deck as he's getting Jackal tracked. Goes back to Goga, to his loving arms, to see if the Valkyrie can keep him alive. At least for the time being. Karzeka will double flash and stun himself with the lifeline. A bit of a misuse of his utility there, 90 seconds in. Pengu looks for a body, sees Karzeka. Kanto will get credited with the kill, even though it should have realistically been Pengu's. Another body of Empire on the vents. Look to be ready for a pre-fire from G2, but walks away. As Fabian with his cardiac sensor out, but he's looking the wrong way. And an easy kill for Joystick, who's gone off of the IQ and onto the Jackal. And Empire will try to answer back. Additionally, we saw the Thermite of Scyther get an exothermic charge down. Shock takes out Kantaketri, a double kill as Jonas walks right into his crosshairs. And Empire finds themselves going from a 4v5 to a 4v2 in very quick time.
Currently no anchors for G2, and Pangu's gonna get one, but Shepard will shut him down inside of Office. Goga in the main hallway, the last hope in this round for G2, and he's gonna try and push his way up the main stairs. Now this is a very loud rotation, but it doesn't seem like anyone from Empire is aware, expecting likely an anchor. Oh, but Joystick well positioned, and Empire will take their first round in map number 2.
Joystick utilizing one of the small holes that was made from the frag grenade that was tossed in earlier on. Now keep in mind, it can be a little tricky for teams to be able to time a frag grenade to open up some of the wall. It wasn't its intended purpose, but just a small little piece was all Joystick needed to be able to see the last member of G2.
Now, looks like we're gonna be going to ventilation again from G2. Makes sense. We've gone full circle, as we like to say, 3 rounds played. So we get to go back to the original site for G2, which they were successful on. It was a pretty close round, all things considered. That last round we just saw, the way that Empire played it out, the biggest boon they were able to accomplish was the fact that nobody was watching the entrance into the site. And had a lot of them a pretty easy control, all things considered. As well as a really light control over Workshop. And G2 were relying on that control being there. So it would have been nice to see somebody supporting the Pulse. Not the case though. We're gonna go back to the actual site ventilation workshop this time around. And it's the same operators being brought by both teams, or so it seems.
I mean, this lineup has worked. The one thing that we can say from Empire is that they often do the same thing over and over and over again, and it works effectively. A lot of times when Empire try to attack Border, they come from the Office side. G2 knows this, and so far that's been pretty close to the case for Empire. So if G2 stacks up all their utility on the same side, they know Empire is going to come from that angle. If Empire adapts, either mid-round or midway through this this attack that they have, which is the perfect opportunity. We are in the round 4 of the 6 rounds in which Empire will be on the attack. There's a possibility that they could manage to confound G2 and waste some of that utility, or squander some of the utility that G2 has established over on the Office side. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as Empire getting their ducks in a row over by that Office wall.
They've got control of East Stairs, but we've seen this hurt them in the past. C4 from Cantor Raketi, still a potential play, but it hasn't happened just yet. Joystick playing on that northeast window, looking to push into Offices. He's aware that there's potentially someone on top of the shelf, and there is. It's Pengu. He gives his position away, forced to rotate because of that. An easy kill could have happened onto the castle there had Pengu lingered, but he decided to rotate in the nick of time. Joystick still going to be playing on that window, very patient. May goes in from Shock to try and clear out some counter utility. There's a rush, though, it seems, down by Tellers. G2 just gets to the engagement. There it is, Fabian on that rush, and Shock is the one who comes out underneath.
Joystick sees that there's presence inside of Armory, not just because of the Jackal tracks, but he might physically have seen it as well. Goga, Fabian downstairs, as Fabian will be brought back to life after his engagement down in the bathroom. So he got that opening frag for his team, taking out Shockwave. Still, G2 has not conceded control of Armory. Empire have struggled to clear out that second floor on every single attack that they have, and they're going to be without the buck. There's a set of frag grenades that are down, they're only one, and good soft destruction to boot. Minute left.
And wall being opened into Archives is going to allow for more angles in the way of Joystick. Empire is still fixated on taking control of Armory, but have yet to accomplish that goal, and G2 are going to double down. Cantor Raketi takes out Shepard. Yona still playing above, using that metal wall to his advantage. Joystick still looking for a fight. He'll find one, but not land the shot, and his patience is working against him at this point. Trying to take control of Bathroom. He's looking for the angle. It's really difficult to find. Cypher will flash his way in, and no down on the Echo, but he'll finally be eliminated regardless. Empire gets another one there onto Fabian. So it's a 3-3 finally, Empire starting to fight back. Only 20 seconds to go, and Joystick setting up the smokes, allowing for the rush. Still vertical control for G2. Cantor Raketi takes out Scyther, pushing from the bathroom. Jonas upstairs, eliminates Joystick, and it's another for Cantor Raketi. G2 get their 3rd round.
Such a different performance than what we saw over Coastline, as it's just G2 all across the board for the time being on Empire's map as well.
Yeah, well, we did see G2 take their first map, and they seem to want to keep that ball rolling in their favor. They've had a pretty good showing so far on Border. We can say this is a little bit more of a defender-sided map, that's for sure, as opposed to Coastline, which is one of the more balanced maps overall. Empire's attacks have been a little bit lacking, I have to say, leaving something to be desired, I think is the way I would look at it. In that last round, the thing to be desired was the clear of the top floor, Parker. It never happened. Jonas stayed upstairs, and that's weird too. Usually G2, when they're roaming above their site, they'll fall back when there's very little time left in the round. Not so in the previous round.
This once again ties into what I said in the previous round. Empire always pushes from off the side. If you know that the starting point for Empire is going to be those stairs, it's going to be the office wall, it's going to be the office window, looking to try to go into archives, then it's very easy for you to read and be able to get them as they go to push in. I haven't seen anything convincing from Empire to suggest that they've learned from their mistakes and they can experiment with a different push here on Border. Now against other teams in Europe, especially in Pro League over the last month or so, Empire have been able to bully their way into sight. They just win their gunfights. They are incredibly accurate and very lethal in 1v1 positions. But if G2 continuously set up for crossfires where they have, coordinate, try to trade off, and use either a Pulse or a Valkyrie to give early intel that they can capitalize on, then Empire falters because they find themselves down numbers and lacking that utility that they absolutely need to be able to get control of the only place that we ever see Empire attack, which is office on second floor.
In general, the utility play for Empire has been kind of lacking and very impressive from G2 thus far. See the Cantor Raketti C4 earlier on top of these stairs, that angle, that's a really tricky throw. Clearly practiced and well executed by Cantor Raketti. And it gave G2 that round. Well, that and, I mean, the 4K total while defending on that site. So, moving forward, G2 now holding on to Armory. Again, their second site in the series, and one they were successful on. Team Empire once again repeating their strategy and going for a push into offices, and it's a rush here from Joystick. He doesn't get his initial kill, and now he's been pinned down by two defenders from G2. Jonas takes him out finally, but it's a re-frag from Shock to take Jonas down. A back and forth though, as Pengu eliminates Scyther on a run out.
The same run out that Pengu did before. And look at that, G2 almost lost that position. It was very lucky for Empire that there were a couple shots missed from G2 because that could have gone bad real fast for Joystick. He's able to live long enough before getting gunned down though, and Karzeka just took out one member of G2, it was Pengu who fell, so we're back at a 3v3. We've seen this time and time again.
Bomb located.
With noting that Karzeka very low on HP, and everybody on G2 is at full health. So it's an advantage for G2 at the moment with a minute to go. There's utility still on the board for Empire, but also for G2. You got a Mute whose Nitro Cell's been gone. Kanto's gotten it down, but he can't engage at long range. Fabian gets called in. He gets the kill that he needs, and Fabian will now move on over. Sees the Thatcher, can't win the fight. Shepard takes so much damage in the process, but Kanto also very low. This is winnable for Empire for the time being. They have 30 seconds to gather intel. They'll throw a drone out. Wait to see if they can find somebody.
Team Empire now going to be very patient. They have the drones, as you said, trying to find out where these two defenders are. The Yokais are also positioned here from G2, and you can imagine that the defenders who are dead will be calling on those drones for the remainder of this round. Cantor Raketti in a very powerful position if he can land the shot, but he won't be able to as Shock gets him from behind. Gogo goes for the rush behind B bomb site. He's just given his position away, but the plant's going down and no one's watching. Oh no! Terrible timing from Goga. He was left uncovered, but he's gonna win it anyway. The plant just wasn't committed to. What just happened? No Yokai drone was necessary because there was no commitment from the attacking team.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was Shepard, who had the diffuser, the Thatcher, who not only fell off the plant, but fell off the full site and went back into office.
He didn't have eyes on the timer, clearly, that must have been the case. A very curious round, that's for sure, from Empire.
We see you. We see you. We see your eyebrow raises.
Very impressive.
They weren't that impressive.
Well, okay, they were good doing it.
They were routine.
Shock managing to take out Jonas from below, and that was a great play because Office has been tricky for Empire. They haven't really been able to get control of it so far on these attacks. Empire finally manages to accomplish control and a decent man count of Archives, but they couldn't go for the plant. I'm so confused as to why the plant wasn't committed to. There must have been something we were missing there.
I just think it was bad coordination.
Yeah, possibly.
Like I said, the longer that this series goes, it's going to weigh on Empire. They are not used to playing these many matches for this long like G2 have. Keep in mind, Empire just made it to Pro League a couple months ago.
True.
That's it. And while their record has been absolutely astonishing, and they are an extremely talented team, they just haven't played in as pressure-filled an environment for as long as a team like G2 has. Now, undoubtedly, both teams are going to be tired. Doesn't matter who you are. But talk to teams when they compete at DreamHack, and they have to play multiple group stage matches a day. They will tell you the same thing. We are not used to playing this much Siege in such a short period of time. It tires us out. You get fatigued. And it will set in at some point for one of these two teams, possibly even both. Final round, though, for G2 on defense. Michael, and there will be no defensive customs, and it will be another bathroom defense downstairs. Reloading! Empire doing something a little differently this time, though. With Joystick, he's over by Armory Wall. He's going to drone himself in solo. We're not used to seeing it.
No, and he's been playing the Jackal instead of the IQ recently, and that's going to free up, of course, G2 to bring Valkyrie, which they have been doing. Very potent operator, given there is no direct counter, and it's going to give a lot of information to G2. That coupled with the Pulse, G2 is going to be able to call these players on Empire quite well, as we just saw. That push from Joystick is now something that G2 is fully aware of. Karzeka, though, on East Stairs, very powerful position on this side especially, is going to try cut off rotation between A and B. He missed an opportunity there, but the line of sight is established, and the potential is still there. Karzeka will seize on that potential by taking out Goga. Excellent shot to eliminate the Valkyrie. Kanto Raketti refrags, though, onto Joystick, so these information operators are being whittled away one by one.
Fabian, as well as the Buck of Shockwave, in a battle to the death, but oh, goodbye, Fabian. If only you had your cardiac sensor out. We could see from above that both of them were tussling with one another for quite a long period of time. And now it's up to Kanto Raketti to hold this in. Pengu gets very brazen, runs outside, finds his hands at the fate of a Claymore. As Kanto Raketti picks up kill number 2. He'll work his way back into the bathroom, so he has control, and there's a rotate hole as well, as Jonas will rotate out. It's a freebie for Jonas on the Shepherd. He doesn't know there's a body on East Stairs, and Scyther is there to capitalize. And Empire will be in a 2v1. With Kanto Raketti left, he's gonna have to find a 4K on the round. But what he has working for him is that Karzeka is so low. Trying to pick off what little is left of him will be a fairly easy task. Kanto Raketti will need to go for the counter defuse if Karzeka gets it down successfully. Trying to push in. Oh, it's a freebie for Kanto. He just doesn't need to peek the hatch, as Scyther will need to drop at some point. His position will be given away. A tense moment as Scyther hits one of the bandit batteries and takes a tiny bit of damage. Diffuser is down as Kanto just sits and waits, and they will both just crouch walk their way around, trying to make as little noise as possible. What's going on with Scyther? Well, he's still there. He's going to go outside. He's going to go up towards the windows. He might be able to see Kanto. This is a good position, but the debris is getting in his way. You've got 10 seconds to go. Scyther jumps in, and Kanto finishes him! G2 takes that round, and Fabian very happy about that one. A tense moment between both of these teams, but just simply a victim of time and circumstance. And Empire trails by a large margin now. It's 5-1 G2 as we will switch sides.
What a clutch there from Kanto Raketti. Up against a wall and still able to land his shots. Truly impressive. Now, Armory Lockers for Empire, their first defense, find themselves in a bad spot. 5-1 for that half in favor of G2. What a way to end it. Yes, this is a defender-sided map, but they were winning on the offsites as well. That clutch from Kanto. Again, the clutch factor was the primary reason that G2 was able to take map number 1. They got some early clutches in the match. Some rounds they shouldn't have been able to win.
Defenders, protect your
and we haven't really been seeing that very much from Team Empire so far.
Oh my. Fans of these teams, how are your hearts doing? Kanto Raketti has really come alive on this map. Let's give him a little bit of praise here. as he had a bit of a sluggish start on Coastline. He picked it up towards the end, but all of the members of both Empire as well as G2 were instrumental in the success that both of them found through those absurd 22 rounds that we witnessed in map number 1. On map 2 so far, though, Kanto has really pulled more than his own fair share. Obviously, things change when you swap out on sides. Ash being banned will put Kanto on another familiar operator that will be the IQ that he's played many times. In fact, he won a seasonal championship with EMS, playing on just that operator for the most part. As for Empire, well, they're going to be tripling up on information yet again. As you see Scyther, Shepard, and Shockwave, 3 S members of that team, playing a Valkyrie, an Echo, and a Maestro. One thing that Empire does so well is be able to relay information to one another. The more information they have at their disposal, the better, as that information ends up being powerful.
No pulse being brought here from Empire, which is something that we saw a lot of from G2. But they have all the information ops they need, really, as you said, tripling up on it. The fact that neither Maestro nor Echo has been banned, very unusual, of course. Because of that, able to utilize both of them. Set up in Armory, so there's not going to be any kind of mix-up in terms of site selection here for Empire. But they aren't holding on to offices, nor is there any barbed wire in the hallway leading into office itself. There's no Leisha being played, so the information here for Empire is very lacking on office. They have to have a Valkyrie cam or a Yokai drone or something to call this. And yes, indeed, it will be a Yokai, but lost the Yokai in exchange for information. Good information. Preventing the rush potential from G2 and forcing Jonas to rotate, but still a loss of a Yokai drone. G2 hits an excellent nade onto Shock. This is that Jaeger band really coming into play. One of the primary anchors there dealt with.
That one Yokai that was taken out as well. We saw that somebody from Empire might have tried to pressure Jonas inside of this hallway. Jonas knew that, was ready and waiting. There's fountain control, and there you go. The exothermic charge is going to go. This is going to be a perfect flush out for G2 here, and oh my, you are in so much trouble, Echo. Where are you going to go? 2 sites trained on you, a deployable shield to work around, but no! Scyther wins it, and Karzeka gets called into his defense. Empire somehow managed to turn things around on what looked like such a winnable position, and G2 will fall apart as Kanto's in. He's going to grab 2 very fast kills, won't grab the 3rd, and put Pengu in a 1v2 as Empire tries to stave off match point. Don't ever count Pengu out. He's got 1 kill so far in this round. He's got 2 good sights working against him. Joystick and Shepard as Pengu walks in, pop up. He knows he's there, but Pengu misses the shot, and Joystick certainly doesn't. A shake of the head from Joystick as he acknowledges how close that came, and a must-win situation from Empire on Armory upstairs to possibly start the comeback here on their defense.
We talked about this. The defender's definitely in a good spot, as always mentioned on these maps. And Empire proving it there in that round. It certainly seemed like Empire was suffering the lack of a Jaeger when Pengu got the initial kill using a grenade from ventilation balcony. Following that, though, a huge failure from G2 to get control of Fountain despite the excessive use of the attacker's utility to make it a softer target. We saw the lifelines, the exothermic charge, so much stacked up on Fountain, and yet a simple deployable shield was all that was necessary from Empire to hold on to Fountain.
Damn, that shot was nasty.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've seen a lot of those.
Not that there was anything wrong about the way that Empire played that. They actually played that perfectly.
Yeah.
But how did G2 not take one of them out? You have a deployable shield there. You got the Echo sitting on the other side of the wall. You just blew the wall open. How are you not doing it?
I'm just surprised that nobody guessed he would be behind the shield in that round. I mean, and that's the current shield. Have you seen the new one?
I did see the new one.
I suppose the new one actually would have worked against him there. No. In that situation, I bet it probably would have, because he was using it as visual cover as well as hard cover.
Right.
No. Well, that's for the future. Here in the present, ventilation defense for Empire, and they're going to be extending themselves upstairs.
Cover the diffuser. Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
All right. I mean, these are the 2 sites that everybody's going to go to. You're going to go to Armory, you're going to go to Vents. That's 1 and 2, straight up.
Yeah, and well, Empire need to have success on their 2 main sites, especially considering G2 were able to find it on all 3 of theirs.
Empire's got 2 bodies upstairs for the time being. Karzek is in small office with Joystick, playing the same spot that Joystick almost always plays, which is that half wall over top of B bomb site. We've seen him be so lethal there with the Jaeger, but with the Jaeger being banned, you gotta go with another operator to hold that one down. The difference is that you can't push him out when there's an ADS there. You gotta possibly try to do something there. There's Joystick, he goes for the run out, but he gets cut down. It's a gamble, take out Pengu, but Jonas immediately refrags. Shock takes out Goga, and everything happening all in the first 45 to 55 seconds of this match.
Great assertiveness there from G2. But it'll break out even because Empire are ready to go toe-to-toe at a moment's notice. Diffuser is down, but that probably won't be a huge factor. G2 are pretty good at keeping track of the diffuser, and they have plenty of time to pick it up whenever they want.
Bomb has been located.
Archives control here for G2. That's a good position to have. They're going to be pushing towards Armory. Looks like it's going to be free, but there is a Yokai drone there, so Team Empire are calling out right now that, hey, they're inside of Armory. IQ still in play, but it is on Cantor Aketi, who will be forced to whip it out to try and find that Yokai drone, and that's really his prerogative. He might not necessarily.
I was just about to ask what utility is still available here, as Fabian has not been the BC of grenades, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He has missed a number of them, and that obviously is very detrimental to his team. Empire also appear to have a body. It looks to be Shockwave, playing prone inside of that stock room by the window.
It's a good position to flank B when your opponent least expects it. You can deny a plant quite easily. And speaking of denial, we've got a smoke and an echo beside the castle who will be able to flank at a moment's notice. So this is really good control from Team Empire as we hit the last 30 seconds.
Possibility of a run out there will be shut down from Kanto Raketti, but have they found Shockwave? No, they haven't. He's low on HP, but he's still by the window. There you go. Kanto will find him. And the Echo all the way up the stairs, and Scyther will manage to take out Jonas. But any retreat from the Echo, Scyther somehow gets it, but traded off. Not a lot of time for Kanto. It's a 1v1. Shepard is low, Kanto is low. Kanto has that diffuser, but he's got to get into the site. He's going to have to hurry, and he'll be so exposed. Empire have been gifted this position, expecting the smoke to be there, but Shepard in a position that Kanto doesn't expect. Played well by the Russians, and they'll take their second round in a row here on Border.
You can see that the call came out there. Cantor Raketti knew that the last defender was by default plant spot, which is where Shepard was. But Kanto expected him to be all the way in the corner, not lingering on the doorway. And excellent positioning there from the smoke allowed for Empire to take that round. What a clutch from Empire. And that's going to put them in a much better spot now, 3-5. Somehow narrowly avoiding that match point.
Some of these shots have been so beautiful on both of these teams. Man, oh man. That one from Kanto onto the castle as well. That was a thing to do.
Scyther playing on main stairs. I mean, that's one of the most vulnerable positions on this entire map. And somehow he managed to get 2 kills from that spot. Truly impressive. Falling back to site. He did get punished eventually, but if he hadn't been able to pull out that weight in the right moment, it would have been a really difficult round for Empire. Look at Cantor Raketti. 16 frags, and he is far and above everybody else in this match so far. Now, we're gonna go to the offsite. It's customs here for Empire. They won't go to tellers. They're doing something a little bit different than what G2 showed us. This is the best opportunity by far for G2 to push us to match point. And here's the thing. Empire have only narrowly been winning these previous rounds. I think G2 are in a great spot right now.
G2 just needs to not let it slip away.
Of course, yeah.
You are right now on the precipice of match point.
It's their match to lose.
So close yet so far. And if you let momentum go in favor of Empire, this game, even though you're sitting at 5 rounds, you could end up losing out, and Empire might not even need overtime.
Oh, look at that. A lot of opening kills here for Joystick. The most of any in the tournament. That's quite impressive.
Well, I mean, half the tournament was just played in map 1. So, I mean, that helps.
And he had a lot of runouts on map 1, Coastline, so that contributed quite a lot, I'm sure. Here, though, in this round, G2 looking to take control from Office, or at least Cantor Raketti by himself. You need to take out CCTV as an attacking team on this site. so that you can go for a plant, because vertical control is so important for the defense, which they will use to deny a vault into the A window, as well as a general plant in B from the drop downs.
Joystick knew that Kanto was playing inside of Archives. He has that little punch hole that was created earlier on, but now Joystick's moved all the way from Armory Wall. He might peek, actually, and get cut down by Kanto if he's not looking the right way. It's going to be up to Jonas to try to flush Joystick out, but Scyther is there to help him out, and now Joystick goes for the late run out. There's nobody there. Kanto will know. Kanto's so close, but where is Joystick? There you go. He heads on over to where Shockwave is, inside of Monitor. Scyther picks up another kill on the Pengu. It's been so good. Now Joystick gets another, Shepard gets another. Empire's all over the board here. Fabian is upstairs watching the skylight. Man, he is a minute and 15 seconds to grab the diffuser and try to kill every single member of Team Empire, which has been very difficult for G2 to do, even when they're in a 5v5. So good luck, Fabian.
I mean, I said it myself, and I'll say it again, G2 have been clutching a lot of rounds, but I don't see this one happening. Would be one of the most impressive clutches in Pro League or competitive Siege history. He's gonna go for patience, or so it seems. Probably trying to evaluate his situation. He has his hands off the keyboard and mouse right now. The man's just thinking. Give him a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let him evaluate the options. He'll be droned out by the Yokai and forced back. Not able to shut the Yokai down until just now. It'll finally get it. Seems he's just trying to bait out some kills. I mean, he knows this is unlikely.
Yeah.
Fabian, he's just waiting.
And there it goes. He doesn't manage. He still doesn't get it. Oh, he's just waiting. But they just need to bide so much time. Empire can just sit and wait on customs.
I mean, you gotta appreciate the patience from Empire. They know where Fabian is, and they're not going for it. Even in a 1 versus 5, Empire is so fixated on winning that they will not risk pushing the last player alive in any situation. That's an impressive dedication to the objective, knowing they had the diffuser there. Really gotta hand it to them.
Yeah. Empire didn't take a single tactical timeout last game. Not once. G2 took one, they're gonna take their second right now. So teams will be able to talk to each other. I'd have to imagine that during that minute or so that Fabian was just sitting in there, he was probably also talking to his team about it. So let's just continue that discussion onwards.
So that was actually a really smart play from Fabian. He didn't do anything in the round, but extra time to add to the timeout time just to think about what you need to do in the next round. Now, of course, your coach can't talk to you in the middle of a round, but the team, I'm sure, were discussing their next round while Fabian waited there. Overall, that round from Empire, really well put together, managing to just get frags all over the place, and at no point did they get punished for it. Some aggression from Scyther early on, and then the follow-up hold from Joystick, allowing for Scyther to fall back and get more kills later in the round. The CCTV hold overall was pretty strong from Empire, and G2 at no point looked like they were able to deal with that. Fabian was going for a repel, a very exposed one, over by Break Room, but he couldn't make anything work with it. So this tactical timeout, again from G2, will conclude, and we will go to Armory Archives for Empire. This is a great spot for them to be in. They've won 3 rounds in a row now, and they're looking to get a 4th on their best side.
G2 have really lacked information and the know-how to be able to confront these members of Empire. It's been a tough entry for them every single time. And when you've got Joystick not really taking as many chances as he did on Coastline, but he's still going for those entry kills or onto you when you entry, that's a tough spot to be in.
You can see that Kanto Raketti actually hasn't gotten a lot of frags in the more recent rounds, but 16 total. That's the highest by far. Very impressively done. Now, again, Armory, great spot for Empire. Last time we were here, G2 looked in good form early in the round. They managed to land some very important nades. Pengu, specifically, on that ventilation balcony, took out one of Empire early on. But following that, it was a rally from Empire to bring it back, and a slow attack from G2 that ultimately really worked against them. Something that's very important to note from G2 is they have decided to bring both Dokkaebi and a glass. A very potent combination of both disruption and lethality in that glass shooting through the smoke. He doesn't have to stand still to see through it just yet.
For people that are unaware, there's going to be changes to Glass. Just look up the video, you'll find it.
Yeah, you should really, honestly, the reveal panel, everybody should watch. That was one of the best ones we've ever had.
It was basically like everything that I want.
Right. It was a dream panel. It was, here's everything you want to be changed about these operators, and presented nicely.
Absolutely. All right, so it's going to be an Archives take. The walls are completely soft. There's Shockwave, who doesn't know that there's a Glass on the other side of it. The pre-fire, but does not find anything as the Glass has control of East Stairs. Scyther just simply seated, waiting. G2 going on the drones. I'm amazed at how little G2 seems to know about Empire so far through these 2 rounds.
I mean, it's been the same thing for Empire. Remember their attacking rounds? There was a serious lack of information gathering. And it's interesting to watch. It was actually somewhat the case on Coastline as well for both teams, but the difference being there's less to drone out in general. There's more flanks to hold on Coastline, but less total to drone out in terms of positions to hold. So it's not working, the same pace isn't working here now on Border, and one of these teams is going to have to change it. You can see the smokes are going to be the attempted change of the pace here from G2, and the C4 goes out, but does not land from Scyther, hitting high above. And the Glass missing some shots and also breathing in toxic canisters, and he's going to go down. A terrible position for Jonas to be playing, and some seriously bad missed shots.
I don't understand how Scyther just sits in this position and nobody bothers to push him out. You have so many things working in your favor, but there's Goga and Kanto Raketti, they answer back. Joystick going for a rotate through monitors, trying to get into position. Shepard will move one of his Yokai drones in towards the site. Logic bombs go off. So rotate now from Shepard as well. Joystick can possibly get back into office and cause a lot of problems. The Yokai drone's position given away by the gadget of Pengu, and G2 are just 1 round away from match point. It's the best chance they have. 30 seconds to go. It's a 4v3. But G2 need to be able to pinch one member of Empire. Joystick gunned down by Fabian, good crossfire and good potential. Garzeka smokes off the site, but he's taken down by Fabian, and Goga goes for the plant, and it's match point. G2 looking to go up 2-0 on this series.
Their first attacking win, and it comes at such a crucial moment. Barely avoiding an even round count. They could potentially push us to number 3. If we get to, well, when we get to map number 3, it will be Bank. And that is, of course, G2's map pick, given that Border is Empire's map pick. Empire have not been as good on the site as you would expect, considering it's what they picked.
I think the crowd was like noticeably fatigued after that first map.
Yeah, I mean,
we are, everybody.
I'm sure the players are.
The players are absolutely, everybody is. That was a marathon. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You gotta be prepared for that.
True. I mean, that's why we theorized, we saw Empire's second pick, Oregon, later instead of sooner.
Kanto Raketti has 18 kills. 18 kills.
It's a big contributing factor to the reason they won that round.
Yes, and he has been for many rounds. He clutched, what, 2 or 3 on defense as well, if I recall?
Just about. I mean, he's been clutching quite a lot today. Kanto Raketti has been, I think, one of the more clutch players so far on G2. And again, a huge factor for G2 as a whole. Bulletproof camera going into Office. Empire expecting an Office take here. Makes sense, the way that these rounds have been playing out. They get to defend Armory again, this because they failed it just the round prior. And at least there's that, after not holding it down. They don't have to go to an odd side on Border. But the way that they failed was pretty spectacular. And it was a good execution from G2, despite, and this is very important, the lack of a glass. Jonas accomplished nothing on that glass, and yet still G2 were successful.
I mean, to be fair, Jonas did distract, I believe it was Garzeka inside of Archives, and then
I guess
you had Pengu who was able to take him out, playing on top of vents.
Yeah, correction then, he established less control than is expected of a glass.
Yes. He needed to land those shots and get that kill. He did not do that at all.
Yes.
So, maybe, hope for something better this time around if you're a G2 fan.
G2 is going to seemingly be attacking from Office yet again. Empire are holding it quite a lot harder this time. They've got a Bandit playing by the desks, and he looks to want to Bandit trick the wall. It's a very powerful position to be in. CCTV control, so that might actually be an armory wall take for G2. Maybe mixing things up. They've got plenty of time for this rotation. There's no reason to avoid something new. Hengu might be able to cut off rotation as well from ventilation windows, so this is a really well-established attack strategy from G2, and it's a free wall because Bandit is tricking elsewhere. Too much focus on offices might be the downfall for Empire in this round, especially considering Glaz is so very powerful when attacking them through armory wall.
I don't know what Karzeka was doing with his shotgun, but he's completely out of shotgun ammo. You heard the out of mag, so he can't play as aggressively, and he will be at the mercy of a very small magazine on that SMG-11. He's playing inside of small offices, which is where we currently see Jonas, but there's 2 for G2 in excellent position. Both Joystick and Karzeka fall, and it's A that is completely open. Shepard is seated, but Scyther will have to come on in. There goes Shock, and G2 are so close. They just have 2 more to find here on Empire, and a tall task for the Russian squad. And there you have it. Fabian takes 2. They call him the best player in the world. Well, in that position, he's not losing, and G2 will move to championship point, up 2-0.
So, G2 winning on their map pick of Coastline, as well as their enemy's map pick of Border. And on Border, much more decisive than Coastline was, of course. Now, going to map number 3, Bank, that is G2's map of choice.
So, with that said, once again, back to our analysts. 19 kills for Kanto Raketti. Both he and Karzeka coming just a couple away from breaking that record. This time it didn't need 40 rounds of overtime, but Kanto came close. A good effort. We got Bank up next, but Milos, tell us exactly what happened and what you all think of that particular performance on Border.
Boy, do I have a story to tell here, Parker. And the game on its own was fairly impressive, and we didn't really expect Coastline to go that distance, but then that was G2's pick. Now we go to Border, which is Empire's, and things pan out completely differently. G2 start off with a huge lead at a 5-1, yet switching sides, Empire was able to kind of start clawing things back before G2 recovered. We
gotta mention, 13 bans on Border for G2. Previous 3 months, for them to then go in and play like that, that's pre-planned, definitely.
Yeah, 100%, no doubt about it. And as soon as you mentioned up in the pre-match for this one, it was just like, it's so clear as day. And you mentioned that it was the same thing that happened in Paris.
Yeah, I think at this point we can clearly say that they were saving strats. They weren't actually in Hawaii, and who would have thought we shouldn't have believed Fabian that back then. So, yeah, what can I say? Sometimes we have to kind of correct. It's our job to bring you the freshest of information, I guess. And we do have the man with the freshest clothes here and hangs out at all the coolest places in the city, right? Mr. Alex Dalgard Hansen. But I'm going to look at you again to go through the map. On the first side, G2 had complete control. How did Empire just kind of fail to struggle so much to try and break through them?
Well, we saw them really take risks for a change and maybe deviate a little bit from what we've seen. That really didn't work out for them, and G2 just, there was no, I think it comes down to the endurance at this point, right? They just played 22 rounds and then going into something that you can't really find that many games where G2's played Border, and they're not playing it the same way, they're bringing something new, whereas on Empire's side, it's still, it's way more predictable for G2, so it helps them a lot with figuring out what spots to be in, what times to be there, and what operators might help them.
Now look at the second side. It took quite a bit of time for Empire to try, or for G2 in that case, to try and find their way back into the game, because Empire kind of just snapped into it and got on the side where they were much more comfortable.
So for me, it's a little bit of a story of just like starting it off, and despite what happened on Coastline with that crazy 8 straight rounds of attack wins, we are in a defensive-centered meta. And we had a first half which was defensive favored, and then moving on to the second half, it was a point when G2 were already up at such an advantage that it was only a matter of time before they would rack up a couple of wins on the attack. And just a word on that, Jagerban, 2 maps in a row. We've mentioned that before. I've talked about in the pre-show, and Kix agreed that Jaeger is so very powerful on Border, and we saw a decent number of frag grenade kills, but it wasn't just the frags. We saw those final rounds there. Dokeby and Glaz. And what have you got to do to make those guys work? Well, you've got so many smokes to fuel that Glaz put in, and you don't even have to worry about clearing those ADSs first. It's an absolute playground for anyone staring down that thermal scope, and in this case, it was Eunice for G2.
Yeah, and the ban phase, that's why we like to focus on that operator ban phase as well, because not only are we going to have it in ranked play very soon, but we already have it in professional play, and it's for everyone to try and learn these sorts of things from the best players in the world and see and understand what happens in their mind once they select that operator to be banned. They're preparing a strategy based around their smokes not being able to be countered, their grenades, explosives not being able to be countered, and using potential Ying, any flashbangs on top of it for executions. Once you remove the Jaeger, things get a bit more complicated for you on the defense.
Let's make sure not to recommend a Jaeger ban in ranked when that comes out. This, if you're not running a 5-man team and you have everything down to the T, just not having to flash clear and dump 2 flashes in to see if there's an ADS, and then needing the 3rd one just to check if there's a 2nd one stacked up, because you don't want to lose grenade and you definitely don't want to lose the smoke.
And not only does that waste all of the utility, the flashes, for example, it also gives a perfect signal to the defenders. As soon as they hear the ADS giving that little wail of the fact that it's now not active, it's been wasted, that it just telegraphs straight up to the defenders that you're about to push in with frags or smokes.
Yeah, and we saw a bit of a failed execution from Jonas onto the fountain. It's difficult for you to always be able to hit that, but the fact that G2 not only were able to use that for at least opening up the wall into fountain, but they're also able to use it to find 2 frags on the bandit and the Doc themselves. And it's pretty impressive to see how G2 are able to find these small holes in the defense of Empire, however small they may be, but that's all that they require to just take the round and put it as an extra on the board. Now, gentlemen, at map number 3, Bank, picked by G2. A map they're very famous for playing Monty on, and they played last year, an Invitational Grand Final. First of all, ban phase. Shield play, Pengu, what do you think?
I mean, I wasn't going to say that Empire was going to go for a Monty ban. I thought it would be the Glass.
Again.
Yeah, but we saw Monty last time, so maybe they truly are afraid of G2's Monty. Definitely still a mirror on defense. I'm going to stick with that. They always ban that. It's almost as safe as it gets.
And you look at G2, what do you expect from their operator bans, James?
Well, the thing is that they've banned Jaeger time and time again, and it's such a powerful ban, and we've kind of hammered away at that enough, but it really does become specific to the map. So for example, let's say that you ban it on Bank. When you're looking at these downstairs attacks, Ying becomes unstoppable for Red Hallway.
Yeah, so you're expecting, if you're going to ban the Jaeger, you better make sure that you either are starting on the attack to try and rack up as many rounds as possible, or at least remove the Ying from play.
Well, that's the thing. As soon as you ban out a powerful defender like that, especially one like Jaeger, which is very powerful but also slightly obscure in terms of it's not banned very often, it means you absolutely, on your attacks, have to rack up an advantage. And when we saw in this past game on Border, Empire just didn't do that in the first half. They only managed to get 1 attack win, and it's just not acceptable.
If G2 risk it with a Jaeger ban there, they also don't have to run the Thatcher on attack necessarily, because you can run a double set of nades and guarantee, especially in the red hallway downstairs, to either push that back, smoke it off or something, where you don't have to deal with the pulse pushing from Vault.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Jaeger ban that downstairs just doesn't become a site that teams go to unless if they absolutely have to.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few CEO defenses as well throughout this whole tournament, and a lot of vaults from those windows up on CEO. Now, from your experience, Alex, how are the ways you try to coordinate these sorts of aggressive plays? Because they don't really always pan out the way you want, but throughout this tournament, we've seen quite a few of them actually do.
Well, so if it's G2 playing top 4 and it's Empire attacking, then there's only really 2 attacks we've ever seen from Empire. It's either 3-man in lobby, or it's joystick on the window, second main lobby, and then a 2-man push from Skylight. So always the same door or same wall they open. It's from the same spot. It's almost the same time. So if anything like that happens, I'd expect G2 to play heavy around Skylight to try and counter it, or maybe stack up in lobby.
All right, well, look at this gentleman. Bank, potentially 3-0 for G2. Maybe Empire can claw it back and make sure this stays on for just a bit longer. Alex, predictions and score lines on this map.
I was going to go for the 3-1 still, but it might turn out to be a 3-0.
I'm feeling the same way. I mean, I called 3-1 just like you, and now it's getting grim. And I think it'll really come down a lot to these operator bans and whether Empire can get back into the game. One thing I have to say for them, they don't seem to be the kind of team that gets tilted very easily. And I think that this cold, hard determination that we've seen from the Russians is something that will certainly help them as we get into map 3 and potentially even beyond.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this part of the analyst desk. There's a third map on the board, potentially the last one. Can Empire take it back? Montreal, are you ready? Map number 3, Bank. It's G2, Team Empire, and Taro Kicks. Have fun.
Thank you so much, Milos. And here we are with our third map. A lot of people had that 3-1 scoreline as their prediction, but I think Border went a lot more decisively than a lot of people were expecting. Things got a little hairy there for G2. The crowd is trying to will to life right now. But Bank is a map that we saw both of these teams tie on in Pro League earlier this season. It can go back and forth.
And it's also a map that G2 picked. And given what we know about both of these teams, as we load into the map, we know that G2 is certainly the more prepared for this map and the match as a whole. So knowing that, on a strategic map like Bank, you would expect G2 to have quite a substantial advantage moving into this one. Empire, already having lost 2 maps of this best-of-5 series, they have no choice but to win here. It'll be a Montaigne ban, and that's a very sensible ban against G2 on Bank especially. Good job there, Team Empire. First one for G2, looks like it's gonna be Jackal. That also makes a whole lot of sense. Joystick plays Jackal reliably on Bank. You can see him on that operator very often here. He'll also play IQ from time to time, which is probably gonna be one of his main operators here. That or the Ashe, now that it's been left unbanned. It'll be a Maestro, which is a very standard defensive ban, and likely a Jaeger. We've been wondering if they're gonna be banning Jaeger 3 times in a row, and no, a Mira, a sidestep here from G2. And that's definitely going to hurt or rather from Empire, pardon me, as Maestro banned by G2. That's going to be a sidestep, but it is going to be that the projectiles, the throwables from the attack will be slightly less powerful now that they can be caught by the Jaeger. And Joystick's going to play Jaeger right off the bat.
What a surprise.
Yeah, go figure. This is also, by the way, the very first map where Empire have defended first.
Didn't we see this with Liquid, though? Liquid went 1 match without banning Jaeger, and Empire just sprung to life.
Yeah, I want to say we have, and honestly, that is going to be a very significant change here for Empire, especially considering now they get to defend first, which, I mean, again, the first time that's going to happen in this series, and it caught me off guard, because I got the order of the bands kind of mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
Now, basement defense first here for Empire. This is nothing surprising. What is, though, very slightly, is they're going to actually reinforce the Teller's wall rather than open up rotation. That means it's less likely that they're going to try and roam in Tellers. It also denies a potential angle that G2 could use to cut off the rotation from the main stairs later in the round if Empire wants to go for a late flank. But there are still plenty of other options to cut off that angle from G2.
5 seconds left.
There is no Hibana ban, which means she will be played. Not at all surprising. Maverick's not necessary here because you can still bring 2 hard disruptors, because none of them have been banned.
All right. The thing that we've seen commonplace on Bank is that wall inside a garage is just shown, it's unreinforced. You can open that up, you can have somebody play long range in there. Usually it's a Maestro who's gonna play in that role, but there's no Maestro because he's banned. Obviously in this particular encounter. But it's still a position where you can put your Echo as well.
Drone ready.
You just have to ensure that somebody is playing in garage, that's it. Because Echo doesn't really have the same firepower that Maestro does, and that is a bigger issue.
Spotted.
It's one Valkyrie camera down already for G2. It was an odd place. It was very obvious in the middle of the hallway. It was set up by Scyther. This is gonna be a clear upstairs. Oh no. Fabian doesn't look to his right. Joystick is right there. This could be an easy double kill for Joystick.
He's in a great position.
Is he gonna commit? He sees the Hibana, he gets one. Does he get traded off? Where's Fabian? Hot on his heels. Right around the corner. Joystick will get nothing. 1 kill, and then immediately refragged by Fabian, and G2 will find themselves without one of their hard breachers. That's the Hibana, as you know. It's strange to see a Bank play without a single hard breacher ban, but both of these teams have particular operators they like in their arsenal, so it makes sense to prioritize elsewhere. This just means that hatch control is not going to be for G2. As you hear the server hatch go to one of the exothermic charges, it's very likely that the other exothermic charge is going to be on the wall. Fabian gets taken down as Pengu has mysteriously vanished from the earth. I don't know where, but he'll be back at some point as Kanto and Goga will now be in a 2v4.
Has been dropped.
G2 with full control of server, but up against so much counterplant utility. 2C Force, Yokai drones, and gas canisters with only a minute to work with. It's a rush from G2. Goga takes down Scyther, and he's up against the wall, quite literally. Still Nitro Cell in the hands of the Pulse. Shock, great position, and with so much time, G2 knows they don't need to rush themselves anymore. Shock takes out Goga, so no more kills for him. On the A-bomb chassis, Kanto Raketti will trade. Nice and even. And Empire take round number 1.
They need that after the border match.
They certainly
They
do.
really did need that. I'd like to know where Pengu went, by the way, and if he's coming back at any point. He appears to be back in.
Kind of just evaporated and it was a little bit weird. But I'm sure he'll get back in due time. The way that Empire held onto that site was very standard. The roam from joystick solo above was the most abnormal thing about the round, and it actually worked out well, I'd say, considering they got the Habana.
It wasn't actually Pengu who left, because Pengu died. It was Jonas who disconnected.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to take a technical pause here.
Yeah.
Now, a couple things that went wrong for G2 that Empire just needed to sit back. As you noted on border, they're very patient. They just sat and they just waited. That was it. They did the same on this. They had the smoke playing back inside of B, able to throw the toxic canister all the way towards the other bomb site. Hello, nice to see you.
And it was pretty standard play on terms of utility there.
And when you lose the Hibana and you don't have a Maverick, what are you going to do with the hatches?
I mean, they didn't. That's exactly the truth. I mean, they realized there was no real opportunity to have a standard attacking round there. And G2 just said, hey, you know what? We're going to go for the push in through server. So that makes a lot of sense to see from G2. Not at all surprising. And it almost allowed G2 to get site control. But there was way too much counterplant utility. I mean, Yokai drones, like I said, gas canister, C4. Every single one of the defenders in that situation had counterplant utility. So, yeah, G2's not going to be able to plant pretty much no matter what.
They're going to have to, unfortunately, wait another year for Greek Ops.
Or, yeah, or so it seems based on the reveal. So, looks like we have everybody here and accounted for. Seems whatever the problem was has been solved. Looks like we'll be loading back in. It'll be CEO for the next site from Empire, meaning we're going to be skipping over Tellers, which is the common theme here on Bank as of late, especially at this tournament. Castle being brought to try and assist the defense at the top floor. Pretty standard stuff. Those barricades will probably go by banana. Scythe are going to be reinforcing that main wall just to try and cut off potential line of sight that the attackers can establish from the main lobby repel.
Keep in mind that Glaz is available as well, should G2 want to put Jonas on him.
It's true, yeah. And he had a good round on border as Glaz when attacking Armory.
Well, he had one bad round.
But one good round.
And then one good round.
Yeah. So the good one, I think, paid off really well. It was a really decisive win there for G2, and if I'm not mistaken, the last round as well, getting them the win, so it is what it is.
People have wondered, why do you shoot those barricades like that? Sound. It allows you to hear easier on the other side.
The North Repel is so very powerful if you let the attackers set themselves up there, and they can just get a spontaneous, break the barricade and shoot somebody playing in the site, then you really don't want that to happen. So instead, open the window ahead of time. You don't have to open it fully.
It's just one of those things that satisfies you, the way that Joystick broke those barricades perfectly on
Just
the
gets
very bottom panel.
Yeah, just
you didn't mess up once.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
It's just so satisfying. Oddly satisfying, so. But yeah, so that's the opportunity to run out. As you noted, those windows are so powerful. There's no shortage of footage of a team literally breaking that window and going for the run out. I believe Pengu did it against Reciprocity yesterday in particular.
It's a pretty common strategy on Bank. It's an intimidating one. You'd think that you'd be down if you go for that vault, but you won't. You'll just take a little bit of damage, and you can even make the run all the way to the sewer entrance his potential to get back into the building. But almost every time when you commit to that, you're cut off in server, and the attackers will be able to get a pick in response. So it's got to be worth it as the defender to make that run out.
It's not bringing the Jackal is an okay decision for G2, obviously, that's why they banned him. I meant like not being able to use the Jackal at all. But G2 struggled on Coastline to find information when they pushed in. They kind of did a little as well on Border. G2 managed to fix it through that second half of Coastline, in which they, all the attacking victories, or all the rounds were attacking victories. Now this time around, G2 know they have to be able to push on upstairs. So Jonas to shoot his own drone. That looks like another drone on his own team. That's unideal. One of those castle barricades goes on the banana wall, and now Jonas creeping on up. Jumps up, but these are late marks that Jonas doesn't really know to go with. Shock takes out Goga. Down goes one of the two hard breachers on G2. As Kanto sprints on up towards the conference room.
No control on Banana is really not great here for Team Empire. The fact that Jonas is able to find himself in this position, he could do a lot of work if given the opportunity. Joystick is going to take out Pengu, his teammate, and meanwhile, Jonas will trade with Cypher, but on the down, he can pick himself up as the Zofia. Meanwhile, his team is fragging out. And because Jonas can pick himself up, this is going to go to advantage G2. 3 versus 2, with Shock on very low HP. Karzeka playing in a very difficult position to make work behind this couch, which does not offer any real protection against those bullets. Fabian coming up the main lobby stairs. He's in a good position to assist Kanto Raketti, who will be coming in from meeting hall. Unwatched and an easy frag onto Shock. Only one bullet. Jonas follows it up with a kill onto Karzeka. The withstand really working out for G2 in that round. They're going to put another one in their column, but this is the first one for Bank. Go to 1-1.
They tied in Pro League. They're tied right now.
It's early days.
I'm getting flashbacks to Coastline.
Yeah, no, you might be right, actually.
Let's get another 20 rounds in on this one.
It's entirely possible. I even see it as likely on this map. It's going to be, looks like CEO again from Empire. I don't know how I feel about that. The way that Empire defended that was not fantastic. They were a little bit fearful of reception/banana. Reason being, G2 put a lot of focus on it. There's that run out on the north that we talked about. Joystick almost got 2 from that, actually. But yeah, over here by reception and banana, G2 is able to establish control. Such a powerful position to then launch an attack into the rest of the site. And following that, if you lose meeting hall control, crossfires are abundant, and it's really hard for the defenders to lock you out.
It was mostly a lobby push as well up the main stairs. There's no real skylight presence, right?
I mean, we've been seeing that as common in this tournament so far, right?
Right, but I mean, there's a lot of teams that just, they don't worry about defending the walls inside of A. Those CEO walls, they just ignore them for the most part. It's an easy target for a Thermite, so Goga can just walk up and get one of the walls, open it up. You see that there's no breach denial on Empire's side. There's no bandit, there's no loot. So, I mean, if G2 reads into that, they can open those walls up quite effectively.
Yeah, then on CEO, it is incredibly relevant. On the bottom floor, less so. The attacker's going to open the drop down, they're going to open the server wall, that's just going to happen. But on CEO, if you could deny the CEO walls themselves, then you're in a much better spot as a defensive team. I understand, though, why Empire has not brought either a bandit or a mute. You know, the operators they've decided to bring are kind of important on this site. Of course, Joystick's going to bring in Jaeger to catch the throwables and projectiles. You've got Castle to give you more flexibility. Defense of the top floor. ACOG on dock makes a lot of sense. Plus, there are a lot of engagements throughout this map, especially where defenders are getting away from engagements without getting headshot or down or killed outright. Smoke is a foregone conclusion on almost every site, every round, and then Valkyrie for the information. Makes a lot of sense.
It's actually the fewest amount of information operators that Empire's ran, though.
Yeah, it's true.
They usually have Maestro, they usually have Echo, they have a Valkyrie. They don't really play Pulse, but guess what? You've got Maestro being banned. We saw Echo last round. Didn't really do all that much with Karzeka holding that operator down.
Yeah.
So instead you're gonna run solely with the Valkyrie. On a couple occasions when Scyther was playing on round number 1, those Valkyrie cameras were spotted really early on. I think there was a miss from Kanto, and man, that one castle barricade is now going to be so valuable.
It enables Scyther to continue to play this position, but he could still die as he exposes himself trying to peek into Kanto Raketti. Very dangerous challenge. And Scyther will win it. As Cantor Raketti goes down, that's a lot of pressure that he no longer feels from the main lobby repel and can now focus on holding the stairs. Shock's also going to take out Jonas, so this is a really good round so far from Empire, and that was through the Habana holes that G2 themselves made.
Unwise. I think it's Devin that always says those holes go both ways, and they absolutely do, especially in that circumstance. So G2's execution on CEO was much finer the previous round. A mishap on that castle barricade is what still allows Empire to play comfortably in that area. That's where Scyther is, over by the banana area of the office. He's gonna peek out, but Goga just absolutely shuts him down. Karzeka with a longer range angle gets felled by Fabian, 2v3. Very good straight here for Team Empire, but that's a freebie as Fabian walks in, looks for another, can't land it on the castle, trying to finish him off. Pengu knows, and it's swung in favor as Joystick, who is so superbly talented as a player, will come on back. He's got those Habana holes being opened up, but he's shut down by Pengu, and G2 somehow managed to pull a rabbit out of a hat on that site. CEO goes in their favor twice, and Empire lose their footing on that particular round.
That was Empire's round through and through, and G2 somehow managed to salvage it. Well done there, Pengu and Fabian. What a clutch, truly. We're gonna be having a small pause here when we get things sorted out, and then we'll get right back into the match. But that last round, I think the patience for Empire actually worked against them in that situation. I would have liked to see a little bit more assertiveness. They had a significant advantage right after Cantor Raketti was taken out on that main window repel. Following that, they did very little with it. They allowed G2 to play the angles that G2 really wanted in that situation.
It's a strong position for Karzeka to play. I don't know if G2 had even droned out elevators. It didn't look like they had. They just knew he was there because he got the kill from that location. You can see the bullet tracers with the other body. That was Fabian that was playing nearby. So you have that info at your disposal. You can push on up. But that was 2 rounds where it seemed like G2 was kind of flying blind. The first CEO take was a lot more methodical. The second one, Empire responded well. Like we said, how much of that was that one castle barricade on Banana staying in place? Because that allowed the dock to not have to move. And furthermore, gave additional coverage farther back to the rest of Empire, as that was another greater sightline that was covered up.
So, here we go. Back to the bottom floor. This being the only site that Empire has had success on thus far on bank defense. They tried CEO twice and failed it twice. Though the last time, of course, as we all just witnessed, was very close. I wonder if they're going to decide to go to CEO the next time they have to pick a site other than the bottom floor, or if we will finally see a Teller's hold from them.
Didn't you say that Tellers has the distinction of actually having the best
Yeah.
defensive rate, but it gets played less?
Yeah, it gets played so substantially less that the numbers are a bit askew, where Tellers is definitely one of the most successful bomb sites. Since it gets played so little, I don't know if those stats really matter. I think overall, most defensive teams prefer to go to the CEO site because they find themselves in scrims that it works best for them. And that's a stat that we just don't have access to, but we can easily surmise that from the sheer quantity of CEO picks.
Yes, the quantity is what makes it surmisable.
Okay, Parker.
Just had to get that in there. All right. Round 4, last time around. One of the early problems for G2 was that they lost the hard reach.
Yes.
Pengu dropped immediately. Something happened with Jonas. He disappeared. And he was gone. They put G2 at a numbers of disadvantage, and then those hatches that are so important that you need to be able to take were able to just exist for so long. G2 has changed things up, though. We usually see them play a Maverick. If you recall, it's Fabian who will often play the Maverick. So what do you do? He puts the Maverick inside of an area. He gets that one hatch that's inside, pokes a couple holes in it. But he's been on the IQ duty, in large part because they know that there's going to be both 2 yokais as well as a bunch of evil eye cams due to Empire's composition. Additionally, there's a pulse emerging this time around, which will allow Fabian to have even more information.
Control here on the main wall, having opened it using the Habana, or so it seems. Usually it would be Thermite to do that. Didn't quite catch it though, could have been either or. It'll be Habana on the long wall. So this is to try and catch the C4s as they're being thrown. And you You can see that 2 people from G2 are doubling up on that. Gas canister's way too late. The C4 will land, though.
Attackers recovered the
No
bomb.
one from G2 able to hit the shot, but it's a double down as Jonas starts going for the plant as well. He's just faking it out. Can't plant amidst the smoke. C4, poorly timed there from Empire. But since they managed to land the previous one, that's okay. They've still got counter plant utility in hand.
The attackers bombed
I also think that we just saw a yokai drone disappear. What an angle from Fabian as Jonas goes yet again. But there's no C4s, there's no smokes. There you go, the yokai pops up, last toxic canister goes down, and Shepard's final yokai is still in play. He might have had to fall off there as Jonas will attempt yet again. Coverage from Kanto and Pengu as Fabian takes out Joystick, as Joystick cannot rotate. The Claymore does it. Successful plant goes down from G2. Kanto's there. What a play from Kanto to take out 2, and Shepard with no yokais, no utility. He'll do nothing. Kanto Raketti, what an impressive round. 3-1 in favor of G2.
3-1 in favor, and on attack of Bank no less. We're looking to go to a 3-0 potentially if this keeps up. And the way that G2 have been playing these rounds is truly impressive. They had an abundance of time when executing from server. Truly in a relaxed position, no need to worry about the clock, and that's unusual on a Bank attack. It comes down to how efficiently they were able to establish that there are no roamers on the top 2 floors, then push their way into server right after. Following that, plenty of hard destruction. Why? No hard destructor bans. So the drop downs are open and the server wall, both of them nice and wide. So G2 has plenty of angles to play. Even despite losing a player to the C4 on their first attempted plant, G2 manages to recover because they just have everything going in their favor. When that yokai, which was the last hope for the defense, came in to deny the plant, there were still 40 seconds left. And there were no C4 left, no gas canisters left. G2 played the juggle so very well that Empire didn't even notice that they were wasting their utility.
G2 repeatedly went for that too. I think Jonas tried to plant 4 times or something along those lines. So Goga goes in, Goga dies, as Goga does from time to time. They say, thank you very much for your sacrifice, Goga. Let's send in Jonas. And Jonas went for, I think it was 3 or 4. Baited out 1 C4 and a yokai, 2 toxic canisters, 3rd toxic canister goes down, Jonas makes it out alive. That persistence frustrated Empire. And with the wall being opened up in server and Kanto and Pengu standing there, there was no opportunity for anybody on Empire to rotate without getting caught by one of the 2 members of G2.
Now, another attempt at the bottom floor from Team Empire. They still have plenty of that utility to use, and this time it's been a little bit slower to clear the top floors for G2 because they have detected a wild Joystick doing his best to delay and distract. He'll be playing inside of Lone Office. This is a very tricky position to hold, and he's actually dancing with death, whether he knows it or not. You gotta imagine if Fabian had the call here, he would have gone for the shot. Goga's gonna drone out Joystick in that Lone Office, make the mark, and here comes the shot, and yes, indeed, it will land. Fabian, perfect position to get that kill. And Joystick accomplishes very little in his roam.
Karzeka's out of ammo as well on that shotgun. So Empire really trying to reshape this site as best as they can. This is I think the 3rd or 4th round where we've audibly heard that there is 0 shotgun ammo available for Karzeka.
As opposed to audibly heard.
Located a bomb.
That's what you do, right?
I got the jab back, didn't I?
All right.
That's all I wanted, Parker. G2 have control of server now. And with that control, easy access to the server wall itself. Predictable Valkyrie cam going back in sight for A. And in garage, oh no, this is huge. Pengu has worked his way into garage. There's nobody from the defense to watch him. And it looks like Fabian as well. This is a double down for G2. And Pengu's gonna get an opening frag onto Shepard because of it. This round could be over already just because of this control. Another for Pengu. As he starts working his way in, Kanto Raketti will join him. Scyther takes a lot of damage. Karzeka finally gets Jonas, but it doesn't matter. What a round from G2. And Pengu, the push it through garage. Truly impressive.
Man, this is just absolute domination right now through this attack here. On Bank, an attack on Bank, Michael.
4-1. How does That's not... G2 making it happen.
This is the toughest match that Empire has ever found themselves in. We have that absolute banger that lasts an hour and 30, an hour and 40 minutes to start things off. It's as long as almost 2 full matches. How much of this do you think is just exhaustion and fatigue from Empire?
No, that's not fair. Both of these teams have been playing an equal amount. If we're talking about exhaustion, the only reason you could make that argument that it's hurting Empire more than G2 is because of the experience that G2 has, the sheer experience.
Side note, Karzeka was playing on main stairs, SMG 11 out, runs out of ammo. He pulls his shotgun out. He has no ammo in him, and he loses that fight. He has even 1 shot, he probably wins that.
You gotta, I understand you want to rework the site, but there are other options in terms of shotguns. I know Mira's banned, but still you have options. So that's unfortunate to see. You should have a little bit of ammunition, but that's kind of a nitpick. I mean, it's definitely something they need to improve upon, and of course I mean Empire, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of that round, if we're being honest.
Goodness gracious, that's quite the stat.
Yeah, I was talking about this in the previous maps. We've been seeing the clutch factor from G2 be the serious difference maker. I think we've seen one or two max clutches throughout this series from Empire, and I want to say 1, especially based on that stat we just saw. So it's not really been a great series in terms of individual performance from Empire thus far.
This is the power of the IQ, as Fabi is able to spot these yokai drones out. CCTV's not working, so let's go to another site, they say. Back upstairs to CEO.
But that's the thing. CEO wasn't working either. In fact, this is where Empire started losing. They defended CEO twice in a row, and that were the first 2 rounds for G2. Why no rotation to Tellers potentially? They must not be prepared for it. Andrew Arquette gets the first kill here on to Shock. And as the CEO wall gets opened up, G2 have an immense amount of control.
This is what I said. Empire don't really seem to be contesting Skylight at all. They didn't do it on either of their 2 CEO defenses prior, and now G2's right into that. And they realize, hey, if we can keep Kanto on repels, take out those castle barricades that are present on Banana, you can keep going. Down goes Joystick, once again, largely ineffective and has fallen off the map so far, as even with Jaeger available, his presence has not been that noticeable. As you noted, G2 has so much control, it will continue, and it's a landslide right now, and Empire is getting buried, as it's another round of chuckle from the coach of G2, and emerging on their attack. 5-1 for G2, making up for lost time after map number 1.
So we have a tactical pause here from Empire, and this is just about the best timing for one. As they find themselves just 1 round away from match point as we transition to the second half. The tricky thing is, the really bad thing, is that G2 have been winning these rounds on attack. They just went a 5-1 on attack. And now they get to defend on one of the most defender-sided maps, period. Bang. So this is a very comfortable position considering its series point, championship point, world championship point, and that was very nearly a TK. But it wasn't. G2, a pretty dominant round, through and through. And this technical timeout, I don't think is really going to shake them. Now, G2 very likely going to start on defense because it's Bank. Because of that, Empire can set up an attack strategy specifically for Bank based on what they expect to see from G2's hold, which of course would be based around Vaderview, but I mean, well, Empire said they didn't prep for it, so I don't know if that's actually a thing that they have done. Either way, they're gonna, I'm sure, have a very well set up strategy to attack onto this bottom floor, no matter what, based on what just happened in that tactical timeout. So, we'll be starting into the round. It'll be basement here from G2, and they're just setting themselves up.
Let's set expectations for this half.
Okay.
On Bank in particular, it was for a while the most balanced map in the map pool.
Yeah.
It's now extremely defender-sided. It's 5-1. I don't think Empire have ever felt more pressure in their entire lives than they do at this exact moment. It's a mental game at this point, somewhat.
5 seconds remaining.
How do you center yourself and come back? How do you pull that off?
Attackers.
Because right now, G2 looks
Attackers
unstoppable.
must locate and defuse a bomb.
In this match in particular, what do they need to do?
There is a moment in matches like these where no matter what you do as a player, you just cannot bring you and your team back into the match. There are a few ways to break free of this, but the most notable one is clutching around. A 1 versus 4, a 1 versus 3, whatever the case be. Clutching around at times can bring your whole team back. Reinvigorate the whole roster. Return faith in your capabilities. But we haven't been seeing that from them. We just haven't. They're not winning their clutches when put in that position. And I have to feel at this moment that Empire mentally are not in a really good spot. But what a shot from Kanto! He takes down Karzeka. That's just about the worst start to a half that you can have. But G2 are gonna keep adding to it. The body count is mounting for Empire as they have lost 2 attackers already. So little drone work being done to establish that there are, yes, roamers for G2, and you need to clear them out one by one. This Jackal Band is also going to be such a factor as Goga gets another. Shepard on the floor. The Yokai drone is going to work not in G2's favor though. And Empire will finally get their first frag.
That's a bit of sloppiness now, and it's opened the door for Empire to be able to walk right back in. Both Jonas as well as Goga in positions where they should have known that somebody was nearby to be able to pounce on them, especially Goga. But it was a good set of play from Scyther above. At least you've got your 2 hard breachers left to carry out this execute, so you will be able to apply as much pressure as you can onto patches and onto the wall, but there will be minimal coverage. Scyther will be tasked with basically engaging in a 1v3 as Shockwave goes to go for a plant. Additionally, you've got 1 C4 in Pengu's hands, and you've got a Yokai drone, possibly 2, from Fabian that might still be available. This could be a big problem here for Empire.
The hard destruction still very available to Empire, as that's the last 2 operators left on their roster here in this moment. They don't have very much time though, and they've got to get past many layers of these walls. Pengu very exposed and might be protected, but it's gonna work against him, yes indeed. Poor positioning from the Pulse. Kanto's on the roam though, and he's gonna shut down Shock. It's just Scyther, and the Diffuser's down inside of Small Office. He's in sight, but it doesn't matter. He hasn't got the time to make it upstairs, and he's not even gonna beat Fabian. G2 go to match point, series point, championship point.
Patience, composure, good decision-making skills, and an inability for Empire to get much going in the first couple seconds of their entry. This is G2 looking to repeat.
It's been 7 rounds in a row, or rather 6 rounds in a row for G2, very nearly 7. We're looking down the barrel of that as they go to CEO. That bottom floor defense from G2 primarily came down to the roamers being successful above. I don't think that Empire expected roamers. And it's surprising that they're not droning these things out. It was an excellent shot from Kanto Raketti, to be sure. But why wasn't he droned? Truly a confusing lack of information here for Empire.
Kanto Raketti has woken up, and a couple of the members of Empire have fallen asleep. Joystick has almost completely fallen off the board. Karzeka has as well after his strong start. And you just don't have the depth on Empire right now to be able to pull them back from the brink. Not to mention the fact that, as we noted, their entry is a little bit weaker. Their information is not where it needs to be. G2 has gotten the best of Empire on almost every single entry so far. And as the stat last round said, in 1vx situations, G2 are winning by a score of 7-1.
a factor of 7-1. We assume it's 7-1.
Could be 14-2.
That would be odd, but yes.
So a CEO defense, Michael.
Yeah. And it could very well be the last defense total. We haven't even seen tellers brought. It's not been necessary. Empire unable to really hold anything other than the bottom floor on their first attempt. And that first attempt did instill a little bit of faith that Empire was going to be able to make this happen, maybe bring it back and push us to map number 4. But so far, doesn't look that way. That 6-1 scoreline.
These are the windows on which Joystick will live on, as we saw a camera from Goga get thrown out, but it was immediately picked off. Kanto Raketti on the Echo is pretty common. He's going to play over by Banana. Fabian is inside of lobby.
And he's got support as well in this position. Kanto Raketti there to assist him. Jonas will get the first kill of the round. Joystick on Rappel. That's North Rappel. Goes down.
There's another body near Fabian too. It's Sophia of Karzeka. Fabian could possibly capitalize on this, but he's not very fast. He needs to look the other way. There's Goga to take out Shockwave, and Shepard downs Goga, so it's very quick. Karzeka will go on to Rappel, and if he's spotted, this could be Fabian getting a kill. Just below, Karzeka waiting so patiently. Who's going to be able to get this? But Fabian doesn't see. Karzeka on Rappel. Pengu takes down Scyther. There's only 2 members left of Empire. Karzeka will be so vulnerable if Fabian decides to look out his way. But for the time being, there will be great patience. There you see it. Fabian can't land the shots. There goes Karzeka. Shepard's the last one left. He needs to get into the site, and keep in mind, in a 4v1, they are the best team that has ever played Rainbow Six, and the first team to repeat as defending, reigning world champions. It doesn't matter the region. It doesn't matter the team. It doesn't matter the roster. They will find you and they will win. G2 take the 6 Invitational 2019.
And that's 2 in a row for G2. Absolutely amazing. Just adding to their impressive list of accomplishments. Season 1, Season 4, Season 5, the second Invitational, the Season 8, the Paris Major, all of them. They just keep winning.
So much winning, Michael.
And now, Invitational number 3, 2019, as you said. And it was a well-deserved win at that. In a best of 5, bringing it out in 3 maps only. The last 2 maps going quite quickly.
I just felt like the wind was taken out of the sails of Empire after that first map.
It certainly seems that way, yeah.
All of their energy and motivation was channeled into Border, and they came up just short, and there was nothing after that.
And that's the first time I've truly seen Empire stumble after such a small failure in 1 map.
They were not the favorites last year, that's for sure, but they are getting a very warm celebration this year. World champions. Repeat for Shas, repeat for Pengu, repeat for Goga, for Jonas and Fabian, and the first for Kanto Raketti. Matt, enjoy the winners on the stage.
Intero, Kicks, all of our casters and all of our streams, everyone joining us all over the world. We will enjoy this moment. I think maybe ever so slightly less than the people who are next to me will enjoy it. Our world champions are G2! It doesn't matter how many you win. It doesn't matter where they are. It matters when you win again.
I say it in every interview. We're the best team in the world. It doesn't matter. This is our stage. We play on stage. We know what to do with the pressure. It's fine. We won.
You cannot take that away from a team who can win a world championship. Remember last year, from a 2-0 position, coming back to win it in overtime at the end. This one, a lot more dominant, except for the unforgettable first map. You wanted unlimited overtime, you got it! 22 rounds, just tell me, because it's unprecedented. 12-10 you won Coastline. What was that like to play as the rounds just one your way, one back again?
There was a sluggish map from our side. They played really, really good. You saw their frags. All of their players had more kills than we did. We just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. Everyone won their attacks, and eventually we won a defense. It was a great map, but I actually think they lost the game at that map because there's no coming back after a game like that when they just frag us and we don't get anything.
This matters to you. You're so calm. This is like all of our interviews. It's just determination. That means you always win it. Tell us truthfully, Fabio, what does this mean?
Everything. I say at every interview about this, what it means to win the Invitationals. It's everything. This is what Siege is about. We want to win this game, and here we are, again, best in the world.
I am also, excuse me, Fabian, much as I do love talking to you, I do want to quickly, to Kanto Raketti, just tell us how you're feeling now, because you're going to lift that.
I don't even know what to say, but except that I'm just super thankful to these guys for picking me up like a year ago and seeing the potential in me. And now we won literally every tournament as a roster.
Gentlemen, let's take a walk. The defending world champions, now the two-time world champions are G2! Champions, they came here as legends, they leave here as champions, they leave here as legends. Will they ever be beaten? With the hammer, with the title, never to be forgotten, G2! An incredible tournament, commiserations to Team Empire, our runners-up of the World Championship. G2 are the winners. Milos, Debmata, Zeronic will take us through that incredible final. The hammer is G2's again.
Two-time world champion.